What's the point of cultivating immortality if you don't have money? This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 429, The Divine Lord's Wedding. True Lord Xiangxiang on the side listened to True Lord Kitayan's words, nodded and said, True Lord Kitayan, the civil engineering department of your Wanfa University is really full of talents, and each has his own strengths. It seems that in addition to this class, the next class will also have talents who can get military certificates. True Lord Kitayan smiled faintly, and said, it's not like the civil engineering department of your Xian'ai University. In recent years, you have won the first place in the inter-school civil engineering competition. Hearing this, True Lord Xiangxiang laughed and said, it may not be the case this year. True Lord Xiangxiang pointed at Ping Han and said, is this senior student on the same team with Mo and Niangjin? He has accumulated for many years. If he gets the military certificate this time, I'm afraid he will be able to practice the Tian Kunlun mountain moving power immediately. At that time, your civil engineering department will have Mo and Niangjin and him. Both of them have mastered military-grade martial arts to form a team to participate in the competition. True Lord Kitayan smiled but said nothing when he heard this. In his opinion, it was indeed the best result for Ping Han to win the military certificate. Xiao Yunji is very good, but he can settle down for another 2 years. Zhang Yu will be sent to the magnetic pole of the weapon refining department anyway. If Ping Han gets the military certificate, it will be a good opportunity for him to join Mo Engine to compete in the civil engineering inter-school competition and see if there is a chance to win first place. Compared with individual performance, Kitayan's engine obviously considered the performance of the entire civil engineering department more. The civil engineering department of Wanfa University has not won the championship of the civil engineering inter-school competition for several years. If this year's class can win, it will be a good thing for him, the vice president in charge of teaching. At the same time, Director Gao on the other side was also carefully watching the performance of each student on the field. But at this moment, Director Lin came to his side without knowing when, chuckled, and said, Zhang Yu's small 3-in-1 is well performed, and his construction ability is also very strong. He has used every bit of his strength to the best effect, but after all, he is not as good as Ping An in currency speculation. Director Lin looked at Director Gao and said lightly, seeing that the students of the war faction finally relied on currency speculation to make a breakthrough and shine in the currency world, Lao Gao, don't you have any ideas? Director Gao said coldly, even if Ping An got the military certificate today, it was an explosion of many years of accumulation. The growth of Kaiyongjian coin is just a catalyst. Director Lin shook his head and sighed. Lao Gao, the finance department has money, we have people, and following them to get money and land, do real estate and finance. It is obviously a road to immortality that is good for you, me, and everyone. I don't understand what you people from the war faction are arguing about. Director Gao, I don't understand either. How can you trust those guys in the finance department who will peel a layer of skin off a passing dog? The battle has already reached the level of 36 colonels. Why are there still people who close their eyes and pretend not to see? Director Lin sighed. Gao Changguang, you're crazy about moving bricks. Just as the judges and guests on the flying boat were watching the exam and talking to each other, the offensive in the exam room became more and more fierce. Yellow turban warriors of various forms took turns to appear on the stage, using more and more powerful weapons and exerting more and more power. The strong energy swept wildly, the thunder and fire surged, the earth trembled, and the plains turned into scorched earth. It was when the battle became more and more intense that the state of the candidates gradually changed. As the exam progressed, the underground tombs constructed by Su Yanniang became more and more complex and complete. The maze-like underground palace swallowed up the incoming yellow turban warriors crazily, and the endless traps continued to strangle waves of enemies. But at this moment, looking at the message reminders that kept refreshing in his eyes, Su Yanniang finally couldn't help but plan to take a look. Especially thinking of the previous information about the growth of Kaiyongjian coins. What if the price of Kaiyongjian coin has increased again? Since buying Kaiyongjian coin, Su Yanniang always took a look at the price of the coin whenever he had nothing to do, and then refreshed the news about Kaiyongjian coin and the gossips in various groups. Sometimes he would even do nothing, just watching the changes in the price. trading volume and other data of Kaiyongjian coin for a long time. At this moment, when he opened the message reminder, Su Yanniang was shocked. Kaiyongjian God has announced his Taoist partner. Kaiyongjian God is getting married. It is said that after Kaiyongjian God got married, he no longer practiced dual cultivation with people other than his Taoist partner. Looking at these messages that were passed back and forth, Su Yanniang was shocked for a while, and even the operation of his magic power slowed down, causing the underground tomb to be captured by the yellow turban warriors. But even so, he only barely resisted and continued to focus more on Kaiyongjian coin. Because Su Yanniang clearly realized one thing, if the god of Kaiyongjian no longer practices dual cultivation with outsiders, won't he also not draw for dual cultivation? The Kaiyongjian coin is going to fall, it's going to plummet. Thinking of this, Su Yanniang hurriedly logged into the platform and began to manipulate his account to sell Kaiyongjian coins. Damn it, why didn't the god of Kaiyongjian practice dual cultivation with outsiders after the wedding? What era is it? Do we still have to follow ancient customs? Is this still a god who transcends the mundane world, and who is her Taoist partner? Just watch the god of Kaiyongjian destroy her own foundation? Don't you persuade her to continue practicing dual cultivation with outsiders. Thinking that the Kaiyongjian coin was about to plummet, Su Yanniang cursed the god of Kaiyongjian in his heart, thinking that this god was too antique, too backward, and too unmotivated. Now that you have a Taoist partner, you won't practice with others? Give up the Kaiyongjian coins that you have been managing for so long? Isn't this destroying the foundation of the immortal path? The Kaiyongjian god is too unloving, because he concentrated most of his energy here. He was defeated in the examination room, and several underground palaces of the underground tomb were captured in a blink of an eye. On the other side, in the examination room belonging to Zhao Yunji, I saw her figure continue to flash at high speed. Her body with 3 heads and 6 arms was like an unbreakable fortress, crushing every attacking yellow turban warrior into pieces. Dense debris piled up at her feet, like a pile of garbage mountains, surrounding the position of the array center. With a snort, another potion was stabbed into Zhao Yunji's neck, alleviating the declining synchronization rate of the law skeleton. But at this moment, Zhao Yunji no longer cared about these. Now she only had fighting in her eyes. She repeated her moves one after another, killing the yellow turban warriors in front of her one by one in the fastest, fiercest and most violent way. As for Kaiyongjian coins, she didn't pay any attention to them. Even after the exam started, she closed all social software directly, just to concentrate on her fighting power and show her strength perfectly in the exam room. At the same time, the judges and guests on the flying boat also noticed something strange in the exam room. Has there been any news about Kaiyongjian coins? In the human-shaped cloud where Bai Zhenzhen was speaking, lightning flashed continuously, bringing a series of muffled thunders. This is a test of the mentality of students holding coins. Zhenzhen on the side said indifferently, "What's this?" In the past, when the immortal technology was not well developed, it was not uncommon for the network to be disconnected, earthquakes to occur, and spiritual inspiration to go out of control in the middle of the exam. Without an indomitable heart of Taoism, how can you climb on the road of immortality? In the eyes of Zhenzhen, changes in currency are like the changes in the sun and the stars. And the surge of spiritual inspiration. It is a kind of environmental change. If you can't even bear this kind of thing, what's the point of taking a military certificate? True Lord Qian nodded and said calmly, now the technology of immortals is becoming more and more advanced, but the mentality of students is not as good as before. In the past, we were still fighting on the front line, but the company behind us went bankrupt first. What does this matter? True Lord Xiangxiang looked at Su Yanniang's panic and shook his head. This is not how you speculate in cryptocurrencies. If he speculated like this in the past, it would have collapsed long ago. Then True Lord Xiangxiang looked at Ping Han again, his eyes moved. Oh. Don't panic, it's all fake news, the change in the currency price is just a technical adjustment, don't be nervous. Faced with the news that was constantly refreshed in the paid group, Ping Han looked calm, changed his palm seal, and manipulated the power of the small 3-in-1 and the big formation to continue fighting. His mana and energy were running steadily like a machine. Not only did he not see any panic, he could even comfort everyone in the group while continuing to show his power in the examination room. Boom. As he slapped out with his palm, the rock layer exploded, roaring like an angry dragon, and the yellow turban warriors were turned into debris all over the sky, falling to the ground like rain. But although Ping Han was calm, His soul cultivators became nervous one by one, causing chaos on the front line. In the face of this situation, Ping Han directly sent a screenshot. Ping Han. This is the Kaiyongjian coin I just bought. Ping Han. Believe me, based on my experience in currency trading in the past 2 years, this is all fake news, and the currency price is just fluctuating normally. Ping Han. Hold on, don't panic. Feeling Ping Han's calmness from the inside out, looking at the orders announced by the other party, the soul cultivators who were a little panicked just now gradually calmed down. But only Ping Han himself knew that his back had just been soaked with cold sweat. But his rich experience in currency trading made him understand that the more times like this, the more he should not panic, and the more he should hold on. And he also believed from the bottom of his heart that his judgment was not wrong. The Kaiyongjian coin will definitely continue to rise, all I have to do is hold on. At this moment, the yellow turban warriors who were rushing in like a tide seemed to have turned into a wave of currency prices that went up and down in Ping Han's eyes. He had to overcome all obstacles and maintain a tenacious heart in this ups and downs, and never give up. Boom. Ping Han slapped out with his palm again, knocking a large number of yellow turban warriors away. 14.99, 14.98, 14.99, 14.97. Just as Ping Han was resisting the endless offensive of the yellow turban warriors, the fluctuation of the Kaiyongjian coin continued, stirring the hearts and minds of many soul cultivators. And Ping Han continued to use his power and slap out his palm like a silent machine. At this moment, he was like a rebellious and rough reef, silently standing at the forefront of the waves, smashing wave after wave of howling wind and waves. Just as the yellow turban warriors' offensive became more and more fierce, and the soul cultivators became more and more anxious, and less able to remain calm like Ping Han, the god of Kaiyongjiang finally issued an announcement. In another examination room, Su Yannian clicked in excitedly, thinking, is it an announcement that there will be no wedding? Then he quickly found out that it was not. The god of Kaiyongjiang announced that no matter how many times he got married in the future, he would not stop the development of his career, would not stop practicing dual cultivation with others, and would not stop the lottery for dual cultivation. He would always develop in the dual cultivation career that he loved. At the same time, it was announced that the first lottery ceremony would begin next week, with 1,000 places available. Chapter 430. Who can defeat me? When Su Yannian saw the announcement from the Lord of Kaiyongjiang, he felt as if his heart was about to explode with excitement. The Kaiyongjian coin is going to rise, it's going to skyrocket. He quickly logged into the platform and planned to buy it with all his strength, but found that he could not buy any Kaiyongjian coins, even after placing orders at a higher price again and again. He could only watch the Kaiyongjian coins rise all the way. After finally buying a little, Su Yannian's underground tomb had been half broken by the yellow turban warriors. He immediately mobilized the formation in a panic and cooperated with the power of Xiao Sam to fight the enemy. Fuck, Su Yannian felt a wave of heartache when he thought of the money he didn't make because of selling the Kaiyongjian coins in advance. Who is spreading the news? It happened to be during the military examination. Is it for the military certificate? At the same time, in another examination room, as the Kaiyongjian coin soared again, the soul cultivators under Ping Han cheered, and the offensive of the magic weapon became more and more fierce. Ping Han's expression looked calmer and more profound. At this moment, he used his magic power to mobilize the spiritual world network, and in a blink of an eye, he had mortgaged part of his Kaiyongjian coins. Then the magic weapon membership was upgraded again, the soul cultivation pool resources continued to increase, and his body of magic quickly downloaded one level 20 technique after another from the spiritual world. At this moment, with a change in the value of Kaiyongjian coins, Ping Han took advantage of the great trend of the world and his strength soared again. He faced the endless offensive of the yellow turban warriors in front of him, holding up the sky with one palm and pressing the ground with another, and then with a loud shout, the magic power in his body gushed out like lava deep in the earth's crust. He roared in his heart, 2 years. Does anyone know how I have been doing in the past 2 years? In the past 2 years, I have witnessed the ups and downs, experienced the ups and downs of the currency sea, and lost everything 9 times without being discouraged. Finally, I have honed this indomitable heart of Taoism. I have acquired a pair of wisdom eyes that can see through the great trends of heaven and earth. And I control this earth-shaking power. Now, a thought from the Lord of Transformation has caused a shock between heaven and earth, but this shock did not hurt me, but was used by me to make me go to a higher level. Today's military certificate exam. Who can beat me? Who is worthy of beating me? Ping Han shouted, and rows of yellow turban warriors were shattered alive. On the flying boat. At this moment, in the eyes of many judges and guests, there seemed to be rolling waves between heaven and earth, turning into dense spiritual coins, carrying powerful immortal power, and as Ping Han's palm prints changed in his magic power tower, they continued to fall from the sky, pouring into his body, and sweeping around with his thoughts. Bai Zhenzhen looked at Ping Han's performance, and his eyes were more appreciative. There is another breakthrough in combat power. This boy seems to be a seed for speculation, and is expected to go further in the immortal way. Zhenzhen on the side was also slightly moved, and said, facing the trend of change in the battle. He was not crushed, but was swept by the general trend and burst out with stronger combat power. This Ping Han is really a talent. Zhang Chenai, a 5th-class god, commented, one force can defeat 10 skills. With Ping Han's combat power at this moment, no one can defeat him at the scene. Director Gao on the other side looked at this scene, and a question came to his mind. Did I misjudge Ping Han? After 2 years of tempering, he is no longer impetuous, and his heart of Tao is not burdened by the currency. At the same time, the offensive of the yellow turban warriors became more and more fierce and stronger, and soon they ushered in the most fierce and domineering wave. I saw huge yellow turban warriors stepping forward like giant spirits. Some of these yellow turban warriors are 10 meters tall, wearing armor, like a moving hill. Others are slender, with wild winds all over their bodies, shooting at several times the speed of sound. Some yellow turban warriors crawled on all fours, like wild beasts, with high-speed vibrating magnetic weapons all over their bodies. Some yellow turban warriors were carrying iron armor and thunder, and they spit out wind and fire tornadoes when they opened their mouths. The powerful yellow turban warriors, like a strong foundation-building warrior, surrounded and killed in the direction of the formation, and they formed a formation faintly with each other, with the intelligence of mutual cooperation. The examinees watching this scene had a vague idea in their hearts. The yellow turban warriors in front of them were no longer simple puppets, but a legion, a yellow turban legion. Facing this wave of attacks, Su Yanniang, who had just been greatly affected, was defeated again and again. The underground palaces he had built were opened one by one, the spiritual path was cut off, and the top of the formation center was bombarded by thunder. Su Yanniang looked at the last 5 minutes and gritted his teeth and said, hold on, I can hold on until the last moment. On the other side, Zhao Yunji no longer reserved her strength in the face of this strongest wave of attacks. Her 3 heads and 6 arms regenerated and changed, and as the 3 heads moved, the 6 arms gathered, and the body stretched. There was a faint dragon-like appearance. Is Zhao Yunji going to transform into dragon to fight through the transformation of the skeleton? With the majesty, tyranny, and power of the dragon, to sweep away these yellow turban warriors in front of him? No, in Zhao Yunji's eyes, dragons are just food, just an animal in a farm. How can it compare to the super high-speed train that can travel across the world after the development of immortal technology? Zhao Yunji's body has undergone a series of changes and has turned into a train more than 10 meters long, a high-speed train that surpasses the dragon in terms of speed, strength, momentum, and sturdiness. The train is suspended above the Yuan magnetic channel, and then after an acceleration, it shoots out along the Yuan magnetic channel, and the yellow turban warriors are crushed into speed bumps one by one. On the flying boat, many guests praised Zhao Yunji's changes. No wonder the synchronization rate of Zhao Yunji's Dharmakaya has never been able to go up. It is a Dharmakaya that has completely detached from the human form, without even a trace of animal nature. Without the perception of the animal body, human nature will gradually disappear. Not to mention the synchronization rate. If the spiritual realm is not enough, the heart of Taoism may even regress. Bai Zhenzhen commented, undergoing transformation again and again, adding Dharmakaya again and again. I am afraid it is just for today's soaring into the sky. Zhenzhen sighed. Unfortunately, human power is sometimes limited. Even if you abandon the human form, or even abandon human nature, it is not as good as the right time and place, and it can't stop the current momentum of Ping Han. At the same time, Zhang Chenai on the side smiled and said, look, you two, there is another one who is unexpected. After his body expanded, Zhang Yu swallowed a large amount of broken yellow turban warriors, and after digesting them himself, he spit out the retempered building materials. The rolling Genki transported these building materials to various parts of the earth giant's body, and under the construction of the Wuxiang warriors, they were gradually built into the skeleton of the earth giant. As the skeleton gradually formed in the body, the firmness of the Earth Giant also increased, and the internal power transmission became more and more like the human body. Zhang Yu knew that the offensive of this exam would be stronger and stronger, and he had to speed up the progress and develop quickly in this exam, so he tempered the materials and built the skeleton. The Earth Giant's body became heavier and heavier, and the movements became slower and slower, but the power contained in it became more and more terrifying. Even the ashes of the Ying family were used in the Earth Giant by him to increase the strength by blood sacrifice. Zhang Yu built his Earth Giant as a mobile fortress. Looking at the ashes of his family, Ying Zhen's great-grandfather also felt a warm current in his heart. "Father, we fought side by side again. The ashes of my family are so warm." As Zhang Yu continued to improve the strength of the Earth Giant, he was making another thing in addition to the giant skeleton. So when the last and strongest offensive came, Zhang Yu grabbed the pieces of armor plates tempered from the remains of the Yellow Turban warriors and directly armed them on the Earth Giant. Turning around, the Earth Giant, which was originally more than 30 meters tall, seemed to have turned into a god general wearing armor. Zhang Yu decided that this thing could not be called an Earth Giant now, nor was it suitable to be called a Wuxiang Lishi. He decided to call it Wuxiang Lingjiang. Bang! The iron armor divine thunder was shot by the Yellow Turban Lishi in the distance, and it hit Wuxiang Lingjiang's chest with terrifying penetrating power. If it was the Earth Giant that Zhang Yu had created casually with a small 3-in-1, it would probably have been torn into pieces and shattered by a cannon. But at this moment, with a loud noise that shook the earth, a scorch mark appeared on the armor on Wuxiang Lingjiang's chest, which was only slightly concave. And under the power of the whole body's bones and Genki, Wuxiang Lingjiang did not retreat a step and stood proudly on the earth. The amazing defense means that Zhang Yu no longer needs to constantly extract mud and sand to repair Wuxiang Lingjiang's body. This also means that his small 3-in-1 can be used to fully promote Wuxiang Lingjiang's movements and maintain Wuxiang Lingjiang's structure. This is not only the increase of Wuxiang Lingjiang's power, but also the refinement of operation and structure. Wuxiang Lingjiang's figure was shaken, and his body under the armor has become more and more delicate. With Zhang Yu's subtle control of martial arts and the blessing of the martial arts saint body, the originally rough mud and sand now attached to the bones, as if they had turned into real flesh and blood. Combined with the rolling Wuxiang Yun Gang, at this moment, Wuxiang Lingjiang was like a living thing under Zhang Yu's operation, a man who was magnified countless times. Boom. Step forward, sink shoulders, drop elbows, and strike out. The muscles transformed by mud and sand twisted and vibrated violently like steel bars, bursting out with surging power. Under the palm of surging Genki, the more than 10-meter tall Yellow Turban warrior in front of him was shattered. At this moment, Zhang Yu directly pushed out the martial arts palm of Dragon Elephant, Collapse Mountain Palm, with Wuxiang Lingjiang. Roar. The next moment, Wuxiang Lingjiang shouted violently, and fierce Genki condensed in his mouth. At the same time, at the Danshan position of Wuxiang Lingjiang, several prairie fire platforms were igniting thunder and fire, bombarding Zhang Yu's Wuxiang Yun Gang. In addition to bones and armor, Zhang Yu also built a series of defensive fortifications in the body of Wuxiang Lingjiang. At this moment, the prairie fire platform was gushing thunder and fire. The power of thunder and fire was transferred by Jixia Yunquangjin and gushed out from the mouth of Wuxiang Lingjiang, like a thick line, sweeping across the Yellow Turban army 100 meters away. On the flying boat, Director Gao looked at this scene and couldn't help but smile. He thought to himself, as expected of my civil engineering genius, this construction skill has been brought to the extreme. This is not only the power of technology, but also the wisdom of design, which allows Zhang Yu's power to melt into one furnace, and burst out the effect of 1 + 1 far greater than 2. On the other side, Bai Zhenzhen thought to himself, the method of civil engineering, the application of martial arts, but in the end it is still the idea of refining equipment, right? This kid's insides have really become the shape of a magnetic pole. Chapter 431, Fighting Heaven and Earth. The Wuxiang spirit general controlled by Zhang Yu suddenly opened his mouth and spit out a blazing ray of light across the air, sweeping away a large area of the Yellow Turban army 100 meters away. At the same time, the golden jade disc floated above the head of the Wuxiang spirit general, and with the rays of scorching sun and deep cold, it swept out and destroyed the approaching Yellow Turban warriors one by one. However, a Yellow Turban warrior with a body size of more than 10 meters rushed all the way against the rays. The surface of this yellow turban warrior was armed with several meters thick armor, and conventional long-range attacks were obviously ineffective. At this moment, the Wuxiang spirit general slapped his palm, accompanied by the whistling wind, and pressed towards the yellow turban warrior with overwhelming force. The yellow turban warrior was about to dodge, but the earth seal in the palm of the Wuxiang spirit general suddenly activated, and an invisible aura temporarily blocked the yellow turban warrior's action. The next moment, as the giant palm slammed hard on the top of the yellow turban warrior's head, overwhelming power poured out, but under exquisite control, it penetrated the layers of armor of the yellow turban warrior, gathered in his body and continued to dissipate. Amid the bangs, the yellow turban warrior who had just been charging forward trembled and slowly fell to the ground. Roar! Then the Wuxiang spirit general opened his mouth and spit out another long line like a flash of lightning that cut through the sky and shot towards the yellow turban army in the distance. The surging air waves exploded one by one in the distance. At the same time, the Wuxiang spirit general twisted his body, bursting out layers of power, and the whole body was like a cannonball, bombarding the yellow turban army. At this moment, Zhang Yu gathered all his cultivation, construction skills and achievements, and the power of all magic weapons, on the Wuxiang spirit general. The Wuxiang Lingjiang controlled by him was like a wild beast that tore the sky and split the earth, sweeping back and forth in the tide like yellow turban collar, raising a sky full of broken limbs and ruins. Similar fierce battles also took place in other examination halls more than 10 kilometers away, or more than 20 kilometers away. With the arrival of the last wave of the yellow turban corps offensive, the pressure felt by the candidates surged. Su Yanniang and another candidate were in crisis all of a sudden. Only Ping Han, Zhang Yu, and Zhao Yunji still controlled the rhythm, and still had some spare energy to ensure that the eye of the formation was intact. But this was still not their most dangerous moment. As the military certificate examination came to the last minute, the yellow turban corps saw another change. More than a dozen huge yellow turban warriors approached each other, and after a period of contraction and change, they were connected together, and in the blink of an eye they turned into a monster with many hands and feet. This yellow turban monster was like a huge meat mountain, with twisted arms on its back and chest, and long legs arranged like spider legs in its lower body. Its twisted joints and bodies twisted together like a group of snakes. Roar! More than a dozen yellow turban warriors crowded together and roared wildly. Thunders of armor spewed out of their mouths like a torrent of metal, peeling off the surface layer by layer, gradually revealing Su Yanniang's underground palace. Behind this yellow turban monster, there were more yellow turban warriors who were completing their combinations and transforming into more monsters. On the flying boat, Director Gao's eyes fixed. The last minute, and also the most crucial minute, is here, not far away. Zhenzhen Qian showed an interested expression on his face. Let me see what surprises these students have left for me. Zhenzhen Xiangxian commented, these yellow turban warriors should have been made before the great development of magic weapons and magic skeleton transformation technology. Right, the technology of combined deformation is a little rough, and it uses many methods that were still in the laboratory at the time. Zhenzhen Qian nodded and said, it is indeed not a standardized product, but after the combination, weapons are shared, and the armor becomes thicker. And the combat capability is indeed greatly improved. The biggest disadvantage is probably that it is difficult to last long, which is also the reason why this group of yellow turban warriors did not become popular later, but it is just right to use it in this last minute of the examination room. Zhenzhen Xiangxiang, in the last minute, this group of yellow turban warriors just broke out their strongest combat power, and it just happened to force the group of candidates on the scene to see where their limits are, so as to tell the winner. While the two judges were communicating, changes had already taken place in the examination room. I saw that Su Yanniang's tomb was like a skull that had been opened, unreservedly displayed in front of the yellow turban monsters. With a burst of earthquakes, one monster after another rushed down, breaking the fortifications arranged by Su Yanniang one by one with the most brainless and irresistible violence, and dug out Su Yanniang and the eye of the formation. Just when Su Yanniang and another candidate were eliminated, the high-speed train incarnated by Zhao Yunji was setting off sonic booms again and again, like a white lightning that crisscrossed the earth, piercing the bodies of one yellow turban monster after another. But soon, more and more yellow turban monsters tore at her body, like tumors, carrying on her body, constantly slowing her down, making her slower and slower. Fat synchronization rate 80%, fat synchronization rate 79%. Feeling that her body was blocked by more and more yellow turban monsters, Xiao Yunji roared, and a heart-wrenching pain broke out from her body. I must get my military certificate. I want to continue studying. I don't want to work in a company. Her body suddenly broke into pieces, and the high-speed train that was originally more than 10 meters long was divided into 5 sections, rushing out at high speed in all directions, strangling the surrounding yellow turban monsters one by one. At the same time, as her body differentiated, her Dharmakaya synchronization rate suddenly regressed again, and suddenly reached 50%. It hurts so much. Why are you still alive after trying so hard? The pain seemed to overwhelm every inch of nerves, making Xiao Yunji want to destroy everything in front of her, and madly strangle the yellow turban monsters in front of her. But just as her body was fighting selflessly, a yellow turban warrior had already rushed to the front of the formation and launched an attack. The integrity of the formation is 98%. Xiao Yunji, who received this prompt, roared and rushed towards the yellow turban warrior frantically. The 5 bodies were like 5 giant lightning bolts, tearing each other into pieces. It's a pity for Xiao Yunji. On the flying boat, Bai Zhenzhen said lightly, this time he has no chance of getting the military certificate. Xiang Zhenjin on the side said casually, what's a pity? Ping Han's strength has surpassed all the candidates after a series of breakthroughs. It's normal that Xiao Yunji can't get the military certificate, but this Zhang Yu is a bit unexpected. Bai Zhenzhen also nodded slightly after hearing this. He didn't expect Zhang Yu to be able to hold on all the way here. At this moment, in the examination room, only Ping Han and Zhang Yu still maintained 100% integrity of the formation. Ping Han's magic skeleton was fully activated, and the magic weapon was running at full power. The whole examination room was like the collapse of the sky and the crack of the earth, and he tried his best to suppress the yellow turban monsters one by one. Zhang Yu, on his side, controlled the Wuxiang spirit general, like a wild beast, fighting and killing, blocking the attack in a desperate battle again and again. Whether it was fighting spirit or strength, body or magic weapon, at this moment, both of them had raised their status to the extreme, and released their potential and bottom strength crazily. At this moment, the two of them had already fought to the white-hot stage. Tian Xiang Zhenjin said, wonderful, I thought Ping Han alone was enough to surprise me, but I didn't expect that there was another Zhang Yu who could fight him to this extent. Bai Zhenzhen looked at the battlefield of the two with some expectation. At present, it seems that Ping Han still has the upper hand, but I don't know if they have any trump cards to play. On the other side, the 5th level god Zheng Chenai also had information and evaluations about Ping Han and Zhang Yu in his mind. A person who had accumulated for many years and was already a prodigy in the civil engineering department fell to the bottom because of currency speculation, but he was not discouraged and finally climbed out of the abyss. At this moment, holding the power of the divine currency, he turned the power of heaven and earth for his own use, vowing to sweep the examination room and win the military certificate. The other one is extremely gifted, perfectly combining civil engineering, magic weapons and his own martial arts talents, and exerting every bit of power and potential he has mastered to the limit. At this moment, he uses his own strength to fight against heaven and earth and face the yellow turban monster army. At this moment, Zheng Chenai looked down at the battlefield of the two people at the same time. It seems that what he saw is no longer a battle between the examinees and the yellow turban monsters, but a fierce fight between Ping Han and Zhang Yu. No, it is not even a fierce fight between Ping Han and Zhang Yu. Instead, after the distant thought of the god of Qiongjiang thousands of miles away caused the world to turn upside down, he watched Ping Han wandering freely in this world and Zhang Yu struggling desperately under this world. Zheng Chenai thought to himself, at this moment, Zhang Yu may be said to be, not fighting with Ping Han, but enduring the unintentional thought from the god thousands of miles away. Director Gao looked at the two people fighting fiercely in the examination room and felt that he was more nervous than ever. Zhang Yu actually made it this far, this kid. He had this plan before the exam, right? Fight for the military certificate. Director Gao thought he knew Zhang Yu's talent well enough, but he didn't expect that his progress in the past year far exceeded his expectations. Who'll win? Who'll get the military certificate? At this moment, Director Gao suddenly realized that no matter who won the military certificate, he would feel a sense of regret, feeling sorry for the other failed student. Director Lin on the side looked at the battlefield with a cold face. Ping Han. Zhang Yu. How come there are geniuses among these stubborn people in the war faction? At this moment, Zhang Zhen's eyes condensed. The last 10 seconds, he looked at Ping Han's battlefield and smiled. Ping Han really has a trick up his sleeve. At the same time, everyone also focused their eyes on Ping Han's position. The earth shook, smoke and dust rose into the sky, and the horizon began to rise slowly. Chapter 432, The winner is determined. To get the military certificate, I must have an absolute advantage. Win this exam with an absolute advantage and don't give anyone else any chance. This is what Ping Han thought. He didn't know how others performed. But if someone in the end protected the array to 100% integrity like him, he wouldn't be surprised at all. So in order to further ensure his advantage, he decided not only to protect the array to 100% integrity. He had to launch all his strength before the end of the exam, to completely destroy the Yellow Turban army in front of him. But it was not easy to do this before the end of the exam. Not only did he need to burst out with all his strength, but he also needed to burst out a decisive destructive force. With a loud sound of bang 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 bang, the earth cracked, and huge gullies suddenly emerged, as if an invisible long knife was cutting the earth, cutting out a huge rectangle on the earth. While fighting, Ping Han did not build too many fortifications, but was constantly carrying out underground construction. He cut off a huge piece of the earth like cutting a cake. At this moment, with the smoke and dust rising into the sky, the cut earth was rising up little by little, like a piece of cake being grabbed by Ping Han. Ping Han's mind was filled with scenes of himself walking along the way and struggling on the immortal path. Until now, you can't make a lot of money by working, nor can you break through the golden elixir. In the end, you will just exhaust your life and become someone else's immortal potential. If you want to break through the golden elixir, the only way is to get rich quickly. And the only way to get rich quickly is to trade in cryptocurrencies, because for the cultivators of our time, for poor ghosts like us, all other ways to get rich quickly and become immortal have been blocked one after another. It's not that I chose to trade in cryptocurrencies, but the times that chose trading in cryptocurrencies, it's cryptocurrency trading that chose me. Only through cryptocurrency trading can I have a slight chance to beat the rich. This is one of the few immortal opportunities left for the poor in the new era. If you are poor, you will become a ghost, and if you are rich, you will become an immortal. It is better to trade in cryptocurrencies for a few years and get a result than to struggle for 100 years and finally turn into a ghost. Thinking of this, Ping Han laughed and shouted, there is no way to become immortal, and cryptocurrencies are the path. Even if you are determined to find cryptocurrencies, today, I will take another gamble, pull the mountain from me. In an instant, with a series of assets and contracts being mortgaged, Ping Han squeezed out the last potential and raised the efficiency of many magic weapons and magic bones to the limit. Then, with his loud shout, one magic weapon after another rushed into the ground, either releasing power or bursting out huge power. Roar! Pull up the mountain. With a loud rumble, the horizon, which was only slowly rising under the push of Zhao, was now violently shaking and rising rapidly. It was like a mountain rising from the ground, and the rapidly spreading shadow instantly covered the Yellow Turban army. Pull up the mountain. In the roar, Ping Han's veins bulged, and his whole body of magic power was surging, and it was being consumed at an incredible speed. The spirit coins in the bank account jumped repeatedly and kept falling to zero. He raised his hands high, as if he was holding up the sky, and stared at the Yellow Turban army with wide eyes. As his hands pressed violently, it seemed as if he wanted to tear the many obstacles on the road to immortality to pieces and step onto the peak step by step. Boom! Amidst the earth-shaking roar, the earth that covered the sky and the sun crashed down, ready to crush everything in front of it. Amid the rumbling sound, it was as if the ground was violently undulating in the collision, as if a major earthquake had occurred, and waves of visible fluctuations broke out one after another. The smoke and dust that rushed into the sky instantly covered the entire venue, blocking everyone's sight. Seeing this amazing blow, even the many judges and guests on the flying boat were moved. A blow that gambled everything, Bai Zhenzhen said. It's been a long time since I saw such an exciting exam for the military certificate of the Civil Engineering Department. Ping Han won the military certificate, which is well deserved. Director Gao, who was not far away, was also shocked when he saw this scene. In this blow, he felt Ping Han's thoughts, felt the other party's fighting spirit, and even felt the other party's choice. Ping Han, it's not that you don't know the risks of speculating in cryptocurrencies, but even though you know the risks, you are willing to gamble everything you have again and again. I don't ask for a long life, nor for a long life. I just hope that after burning everything, I can either become a ghost or an immortal, but I just want to be happy. Pinghan, Yu, director Gao sighed for a long time. He didn't think that the other party's immortal path was right, but with the other party's resolute choice, he no longer planned to persuade the other party, and he knew that his persuasion was useless. I hope you can go further after getting this military certificate, but at this moment, Zhang Yu suddenly said, it's not over yet. His trunk rolled, and the fangs in his mouth suddenly swelled out. He said with some excitement in his eyes, Zhang Yu also made a move. Interesting, very interesting. Is there still a fight in this exam? Zhang Yu was not the only one who noticed this. At this moment, many judges and guests present, either first or later, had all focused their attention on the other side of the examination room, focusing on the direction where Zhang Yu was. Feeling the faint vibrations coming from the ground, Zhang Yu knew that this must be caused by the movement in the examination hall in other directions. Although he did not see it with his own eyes, just by feeling the constant vibrations from the ground, Zhang Yu could imagine how fierce, terrifying, and earth-shaking this attack was. Does anyone think the same as me? Just protecting the integrity of the array at 100% may not necessarily ensure the military certificate. When many people protect the integrity of the array at 100%, then the ownership of the military certificate must be determined according to other aspects of performance, and the number of casualties to the Yellow Turban warriors will obviously be an important consideration. While Zhang Yu's mind was completing all kinds of thoughts in a flash, he stood at the head of the Wuxiang Spirit General, silently accumulating his strongest attack at the moment. In the Danshan of the Wuxiang Spirit General, the Liaoyuan Tower and the Ningbo Tower were attacking together, and thunder and fire and cold light bombarded Zhang Yu's Wuxiang Yun gang, filling the 20 empty holes in the gang key one by one. With the blessing of the martial arts saint body, the 20th level Zhuxiao Yongquangjin was not only perfectly exerted, but even in the process of using the force to fight the force, it was able to rebound with a force that was more ferocious than the incoming force. At this moment, the power of thunder, fire, and cold light was transferred by Zhuxiao Yongquangjin, and its power was enhanced. At the same time, the 20th level of treasure appraisal had already been secretly activated many times while Zhang Yu was devouring the remains of the Yellow Turban warrior. At this moment, Zhang Yu was already very familiar with the structure of the Yellow Turban warrior, and he had taken in the weaknesses of every Yellow Turban warrior on the scene. This could make Zhang Yu's next attack more powerful. The next moment, as Zhang Yu put his hands together, the small 3-in-1 suddenly started, causing the back of the Wuxiang Spirit General to rise and fall. In the roar, in addition to the Zhuang Herong's Hinayu seal, Zhang Yu also pushed the Great Wilderness Moving Mountain Jin to level 20 and the Earth-controlling Divine Change to level 10. At this moment, the power of the small 3 combination increased to the 16th level, and the body of the Wuxiang Spirit General suddenly expanded. Everyone on the flying boat was moved, and a thought came to their mind: breakthrough? The skills of the 7 wonders of Tumu broke through in the battle. This level of breakthrough can make Zhang Yu's next attack get another level of strengthening. At the same time, the skills such as the War Demon Falling Life Art and the Spring and Autumn Endless Zen were launched one after another, allowing Zhang Yu to get another level of strengthening next time. The next moment, a rumbling sound exploded. After the 16th level of the small 3 combination was launched under the blessing of the martial arts saint body, palms of different sizes suddenly burst out from behind the Wuxiang Spirit General. Under the control of the 4-level thinking, palms continued to swarm out like an overwhelming blanket, sweeping towards all the Yellow Turban warriors. Each palm, driven by the power of the small 3 combination, launched the palm power of the Dragon Elephant Collapsing Mountain Palm. Each palm contained the power of the 9 heavens clouds, and under the subtle control of martial arts, it exploded with attacks transferred from the Liaoyuan platform and the Ningbo Tower. In the Danshan of the Wuxiang Spirit General, the Liaoyuan platforms and the Ningbo Towers were still launching offensives, transmitting power through the 9 heavens clouds. Under the blessing of the Time Remnant Demon Eye, the whole world seemed to have entered a deceleration state. Every movement of the palm and every action of the Yellow Turban warrior were within Zhang Yu's insight. The surging power, wrapped in explosive energy, fiercely hit the weaknesses of the Yellow Turban warriors present. Zhang Yu said silently in his heart, this move can be called 9 heavens clouds, 1,000 hands of holy martial arts. Every bit of power was enhanced to the extreme. Every move was used with a most precise method to hit the target's weakness. Boom 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 boom. The earth shook and smoke and dust surged. Palms wrapped in white mist-colored ki bombarded the entire battlefield like falling stars. As soon as the surging power touched the body of the yellow turban warrior, it was like a pervasive stream of water, strangling the yellow turban warrior's weaknesses. Under the terrifying attack, the entire land was full of broken limbs and arms of the yellow turban warrior, as well as fist pits and palm prints. Everything stopped only when Zhang Yu's mana was almost exhausted. But just when everyone thought it was over, Zhang Yu, who was standing on top of the Wuxiang spirit general, took a deep breath. In his mind, the four white bulls roared to the sky. Under the extreme explosion, the already wounded body was forcibly stabilized by Zhang Yu's activation. In the Danshan, which was almost exhausted of mana, as Zhang Yu switched to the long flow of ki pulses, a trace of mana was forcibly squeezed out of the blood, physical strength, and essence in the body. Zhang Yu suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood, then grinned and shouted in his heart, "Damn, body. Give me another shot," as his ki meridians were switched to the martial arts holy body. The next moment, 9 skies and clouds, 1,000 hands of holy martial arts. Just when the first round of attacks was just beginning, Zhang Yu was already ready to launch the second round of attacks. At this moment, palms wrapped in clouds and mist soared into the sky. The clouds and mist were full of Zhang Yu's blood, so when these palms were blasted out, they fell to the ground like burning meteors, and the entire battlefield was cleaned up again before the end of the exam. Chapter 433 Expert Comments. In the examination room, Zhang Yu was seen bursting with blood mist. At the last moment of the exam, Zhang Yu launched 2 rounds of ultimate moves, which burst out with great power, but also destroyed his body to an unprecedented degree. When the whole land stopped shaking and there was no movement on the battlefield, the Wuxiang spirit general under Zhang Yu's feet gradually broke. The mud and sand that were originally lifelike and seemed like real flesh and blood, after losing the power of Zhang Yu, collapsed and turned into dust all over the sky. At the same time, Zhang Yu, who was originally standing on the head of the Wuxiang spirit general, also fell down at this moment. In the move just now, every bit of Zhang Yu's magic power, every strand of Genki, and even every inch of muscle in his body, burst out with all his strength, and pushed all the power into the ultimate move just now. Even the thinking in his mind was also run to the limit under the blessing of multiple thoughts and the time residual demon eye. So the brain, muscles, internal organs, every inch of the body paid a huge price after overloading. Just like when a sharp sword is used in battle, the blade will inevitably be worn, cracked or even broken. Zhang Yu's body at this moment is like a torture, with large areas of muscles damaged, bones broken, meridians broken, and internal organs bleeding. So with the collapse of the Wuxiang spirit general, Zhang Yu's figure swayed slightly, and the whole person fell to the ground. He wanted to twist his waist and adjust his body shape, but found that he didn't have even a trace of strength in his body. It was at this moment that Zhang Yu discovered an important matter brought by the subtlety of martial arts. He smiled bitterly and thought to himself, with my control to drain the body, it can really be completely drained, and there is no strength to move. Just when Zhang Yu was thinking about it in his mind, a light whoosh sound came from his ears. I saw a figure had penetrated the smoke and dust and came in front of him. Director Gao gently caught Zhang Yu, who was still falling. Looking at the bloody body of the other party, he sighed in his heart, "Good boy, have a good rest next." Feeling Zhang Yu's surprised look, Director Gao said lightly, "Don't worry, the exam time is up and it's over. It's no problem for me to come here." After that, he shouted to the side, "Is there any righteous God here? Please send this candidate for treatment." Hearing Director Gao's words, Zhang Yu struggled to speak and said, "Old teacher, no treatment." Director Gao interrupted Zhang Yu and said lightly, don't worry about the money, I will pay for the medical expenses." Deng Bingding appeared beside the two of them and smiled. "Director Gao, I will take him for treatment." Looking at Director Gao in front of him, Deng Bingding thought to himself, the instructor designated by Zhang Yu is the Lord of Magnetic Pole, right? This Director Gao frowned and said, "Is there anything else?" Deng Bingding smiled slightly and said, Nothing. After watching Zhang Yu being sent away by Deng Bingding, Director Gao turned his head and looked in the direction of the flying boat. The next moment, his figure flashed and disappeared in the examination room. At the same time, just as the candidates were evacuating, the gods appeared in the examination room one after another, and began to clean up the battlefield, count the war damage, and compile various data. On the flying boat, many judges and guests were replaying the scenes of the exam just now. In particular, The scenes of Ping Han and Zhang Yu occupied the eyes of most judges and guests. Bai Zhenzhen said lightly, "What do you think?" The fifth-level god Zheng Chenai said, "Ping Han has been tempered for many years, and his heart is as solid as a rock. Today, he has accumulated a lot of experience and has shown strength that can be said to sweep the whole field, especially the last mountain pulling attack. I'm afraid no one on the scene can stop it." Experts from other universities nodded repeatedly after hearing this, obviously agreeing with Zheng Chenai's statement, and they all felt that the military certificate should be won by Ping Han. But at this moment, Tian Zhenzhen rolled up his trunk, shook his two fangs, and said, "Is there really no one who can stop him? I think Zhang Yu can stop him." The professor from Tianyao University laughed and said casually, "Zhang Yu's martial arts aptitude is obviously above all the candidates in the audience. Even the most mediocre martial arts moves will be transformed into magic in his hands, just like the dragon elephant collapsing mountain palm he promoted, which was originally an ordinary outer martial art, but when he combined it with Zio-Sen, it immediately exerted earth-shaking power, and the Nine Skies cloud power, a military-grade martial art. Every point of strength can exert 12 points of effect. With this move alone, I'm afraid no students on the scene can break his defense." Some experts and professors nodded repeatedly after hearing this, and felt that what Tian Zhenzhen said made sense. Director Lin looked at the two judges, who were friendly just now, and suddenly started to exchange words. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart about the importance of the military certificate. The influence and interests involved in it could cause all parties to dispute over its ownership. He thought to himself, "True Lord Xiangxiang, do you not want Ping Han to get the military certificate and threaten Xianyao University in the civil engineering inter-school competition? After all, Ping Han has already mastered the 7 wonders. Once he gets the certificate, he will soon be able to master the Tian Kunlun power to move mountains. Whether or not you have mastered military-grade martial arts is the difference between heaven and earth. When the time comes, Ping Han will cooperate with Mo Entropy Jin. I'm afraid it will be a great threat to Xianyao University in the competition. As for Zheng Chenai, this righteous god has been in charge of Wanfa University for many years. Is he optimistic about Ping Han at this moment, so that the civil engineering department can come first in the competition and add to his political achievements? Or does he have other ideas?" Thinking of this, Director Lin looked at True Lord Qian again, and thought to himself, what exactly is True Lord Qian's idea? Does he also support Ping Han and want him to cooperate with Mo Entropy Jin to win the first place in a competition for the civil engineering department? Just as Director Lin was thinking quickly in his heart, True Lord Xiangxiang in front of him continued, "Look at Zhang Yu's final outburst." As soon as he moved his fingertips, the screen in front of him suddenly enlarged, showing the scene of Zhang Yu finally sweeping away the yellow turban warriors. "Look at this move, and then look at this move." Tian Zhenzhen drew scenes of palm power bombarding the yellow turban warriors and causing the yellow turban warriors to change shape. True Lord Tian said with emotion, "It is necessary to absorb the power of the defensive fortifications, add one's own physical strength, add the power of the Gangqi, and integrate all these powers into one's own martial arts moves, and finally burst out with a giant push by the small 3-in-1. This series of power control, each time strengthening one's destructive power, is already wonderful to the pinnacle, and on the basis of achieving this, with accurate force, almost every move of yours hits the vital points of the yellow turban warrior, and each move causes maximum damage with a minimum force. This is even more difficult, and if this situation is to be repeated hundreds of times in a short period of time, it can be said to be as difficult as ascending to heaven for the candidates on the scene." Many of the guests around did not analyze Zhang Yu's attack so carefully. At this moment, listening to True Lord Tian Shuang's detailed analysis, they immediately felt the exquisiteness of Zhang Yu's final series of offensives. Deng Bingling took Zhang Yu to receive treatment while listening to the judge's words. He couldn't help but look at Zhang Yu, who was half asleep and half awake, and thought to himself, "This guy's performance seems to be even more amazing than I expected." Director Lin listened to the analysis of Xiangxiang and thought to himself, "This elephant demon, does he really want Zhang Yu to get the military certificate?" That's right. By the time Zhang Yu finishes learning the 7 wonders and practices the Tian Kunlun mountain, moving divine power to perfection, Mo Engine will have graduated long ago. In this way, there will never be a threat to Xianyao University in the competition. At the same time, Director Gao had also returned to the flying boat. Listening to Xiangxiang's analysis, he couldn't help but nod secretly. "Zhang Yu, this kid, really scared me this time. Whether he gets the military certificate this time or not, he should be officially accepted as a disciple." At this moment, another guest said, "Zhang Yu is good, but his performance of trying his best is something Ping Han can do with absolute strength. After this exam, Ping Han's strength will continue to soar. Whether it is his potential, upper limit, or his final gamble of everything, they are far from Zhang Yu's." Another guest said, "Zhang Yu's final desperate struggle, did the medical expenses reduce? Didn't he also gamble everything? I think his gamble is as solid as a rock. If he is as rich as Ping Han, his strength will definitely exceed Ping Han." The guest who just spoke waved his hand and said, "This is wrong. Whether it is wealth or cryptocurrency speculation, it is part of strength." What if? Director Gao stood aside and did not say a word. He just listened to the experts and professors from various universities arguing. Seeing them trying to tell which one of Ping Han and Zhang Yu was better and more suitable for getting a military certificate, Director Gao couldn't help but smile. It's a pity that we can't record it. Otherwise I would have sent it to Magnetic Pole to see how these experts and professors quarreled over which of my two disciples was better. Just as the quarrel was getting more intense, the cloud of lightning transformed by Bai Zhenzhen flashed, and a strong pressure came out of his body, and the sound of thunder suppressed everyone's voice. Only the sound of thunder made up the words of Bai Zhenzhen. The military certificate exam only looks at the performance in this game, not the past experiences, regardless of the future possibilities. Everyone, don't go off topic, Zhang Chenai said. That's right, only look at the performance on the spot, and the data has been compiled. The light screen flashed, and the statistical data of each candidate appeared in front of everyone. Zhang Chenai pointed to Ping Han, who ranked first, and said, "Ping Han ranked first in the construction output value and the destruction range of the whole field. I think there is no dispute that he won the military certificate." Chapter 434 Report to Heaven. Looking at Ping Han, who ranked first in construction output value, Tian Zhenzhen smiled slightly, pointed at the light curtain, and said, "As for the ranking, it depends on how it is ranked. If it is calculated by the number of kills, it will be another picture." The data ranking in the light curtain suddenly changed from the original ranking by construction output value to the ranking by the number of kills of the Yellow Turban warriors. In a blink of an eye, Zhang Yu ranked first and Ping Han ranked second. Seeing this scene, many guests were a little surprised. After all, Ping Han's final blow of pulling the mountain, whether in terms of momentum or movement, was better than Zhang Yu, but he didn't expect that the number of kills was surpassed by Zhang Yu. Tian Zhenzhen explained, although Ping Han's final blow was powerful, it lacked the control of Zhang Yu, so the effective killing power was naturally not that sufficient. As soon as he thought about it, the light curtain had projected the scene of the righteous gods cleaning the battlefield. In Ping Han's examination room, the righteous gods were splitting and moving the hill that Ping Han had just thrown angrily, and then returned to the distance. Then they saw that under the hill that had been lifted, a large number of smaller Yellow Turban warriors were buried in the pits, still maintaining their combat effectiveness. Director Gao, watching this scene, thought to himself, Ping Han's mountain pulling attack hit the large Yellow Turban monsters first and was directly shattered, but the small Yellow Turban warriors had a chance to dig pits to avoid the attack. Even because the hill pressed on the remains of the large Yellow Turban monsters, it would itself create a gap between the mountain and the ground. At the same time, Zhang Yu's examination room also emerged on the other side. One after another, the bodies of the Yellow Turban warriors were cleared out. Each one looked slightly damaged, but was destroyed with precision, and no one survived on the entire battlefield. Deng Bingding, who was also watching this scene, was even more shocked. Zhang Yu is only a junior? It hasn't even been 2.5 years since he first entered college, but he has made such rapid progress. As the battlefield debris of Zhang Yu and Ping Han was revealed, Tian Zhenzhen continued, Zhang Yu achieved higher casualties with a lower construction scale and lower cost. Doesn't this show that his level is higher than Ping Han? Hearing this, many civil engineering experts at the scene couldn't help but nod their heads repeatedly. After all, how to lower costs, just like how to raise costs, is an indispensable skill for every civil engineer. Zhang Chenai disapproved and said, in a civil engineering exam, how can we compare the number of kills? Of course, we have to look at the scale and efficiency of the construction. Zhenzhen did not give in and said, this is an exam for the military civil engineering certificate. It determines the right to use military-grade martial arts. How can we not look at the number of kills? Just as the two sides were arguing, Zhenzhen, who had never spoken, looked at Director Lin and said, "Old Lin, what do you think?" Director Lin said, "Ping Han has his strengths, and Zhang Yu has his strengths, but Ping Han is the last class after all." Zhang Zhenzhen shook his head. "So what if it's the last class? Military certificates are awarded based on merit. Does it depend on who is older?" A guest said, "I think it's better to let both of them get their military certificates." Zhenzhen denied, "Heaven will only give one place at most. It's impossible for both of them to go." Director Gao on the side sighed secretly after hearing this. He knew that for heaven, no matter how outstanding the students were, they were not qualified to ask them to retract their decisions. As the judges and guests expressed their opinions, Zhenzhen concluded, whether it is Ping Han or Zhang Yu, they both have their own merits. Ping Han has great magical power. He borrowed the power of the gods and the power of heaven and earth. This battle can be called earth-shaking. Zhang Yu's martial arts have been tempered for thousands of times. He swept the whole field with a desperate blow. It can be said that he fought against heaven and earth. While speaking, Zhenzhen's mind flashed with a conversation with Bai Zhenzhen just now. In fact, while everyone at the scene expressed their opinions one by one, he was also repeatedly studying the performance of Ping Han and Zhang Yu. Especially Zhang Yu, perhaps because of Bai Zhenzhen, Zhenzhen not only paid attention to Zhang Yu, but also paid attention to the parts of Zhang Yu other than martial arts. Zhang Yu's magic weapons seem insignificant, but they play a huge role. If it weren't for the blessing of these magic weapons, his digestion speed of building materials would probably be much slower, and the last remaining power might not be able to completely destroy the enemy. Thinking of this, Zhenzhen sent a message to Bai Zhenzhen and asked a question. Zhenzhen, Jiji, how is Zhang Yu's weapon refining level? Zhenzhen? Zhenzhen, Zhang Yu's instructor screenshot. Image file Zhenzhen, oh, if you didn't say it, I would have forgotten that I did accept such a disciple. Zhenzhen, I am presiding over the military certificate examination. Zhenzhen, I want to know Zhang Yu's weapon refining level. Zhenzhen, if he is in the weapon refining department, he is at least in the top 5 in the class. Zhenzhen was slightly surprised when he heard this, and asked again, which of the magic weapons on him were refined by himself? The memory of talking with Master CG flashed through his mind. Master Qiyun thought to himself, this Zhang Yu is very talented, the whole school is a chessboard. Although the cross-school competition of the civil engineering department is important, the refining department is more important after all. By helping Master CG and Zhang Yu can learn the power of moving mountains in Kunlun before transferring to another department, and become a cross-disciplinary talent in refining. If we can feed back to the civil engineering department and promote further cooperation between the refining department and the civil engineering department, we can add a weight to the balance of power between the finance department and crack down on the trend of currency speculation in the school. Old Gao will definitely support it if he knows. Although Master Qiyun never opposed students speculating in Kyongji and coins on the surface, it is impossible for him to say that he has no objection to the fact that his own leeks are being sent to the sickle of Helhun University to be harvested. Master Qiyun can already imagine what kind of trend will be set in the civil engineering department once Ping Han obtains the military certificate. Of course, whether it is the overall situation of each department of Wonfa University or the analysis of currency speculation among students, the basis of these thoughts is ultimately based on Zhang Yu's strength. If Zhang Yu's strength was not indeed stronger than Ping Han from a certain perspective, Zhenzhen would not have thought so much. His mind was running like lightning, but Zhenzhen kept talking, and continued, However, Ping Han holds the power of heaven and earth. Although it is powerful, he cannot control it perfectly after all, leaving flaws and shortcomings. Zhang Yu relies on his own efforts for every bit of strength, with supreme fighting spirit, supplemented by ashes, flesh and blood, and digested matter. At the lowest cost, he has forged a steel defense line that kills the most enemies. In my opinion, this is the true civil engineering spirit, but my evaluation is only my evaluation. I will report the data of the entire exam today, as well as your opinions, to the heavenly court truthfully. The final result will naturally be decided by the great gods and immortals in the heavenly court. Zhang Chenai, who was standing aside, thought that the high-ranking immortals of the sects would not care about these trivial matters in the heavenly court, and it was estimated that they would be left to the great gods to decide. But the gods would not be distracted too much by this exam most likely. The gods under them would combine the opinions of everyone on the scene to come up with a result. Normally, the heavenly court would not reject the on-site suggestions for the military certificate exam according to the current situation, Both Bai Zhenzhen and Zhenzhen support Zhang Yu, so the military certificate of the Civil Engineering Department this time will most likely be given to Zhang Yu. Zhang Chenai thought to himself, this Ping Han. What a pity. If he gets the military certificate, it is estimated that it will drive many people to buy Kaiyongjian coins. After hearing what Bai Zhenzhen said, everyone on the scene had the same idea as Zhang Chenai, and understood that this time the military certificate would most likely be given to Zhang Yu. Of course, from a procedural point of view, everything still needs to be submitted for approval and wait for the Heavenly Court to decide. Before the Heavenly Court actually announced the results, the experts and professors on the scene naturally had no interest in revealing it in advance. Director Gao, who had just been listening to the arguments of everyone, also showed a complicated expression on his face. In his heart, no matter which of Ping Han and Zhang Yu did not get the military certificate, he felt very sorry. Hearing Ping Han's defeat, this regret became even stronger, and even diluted Zhang Yu's joy for getting the military certificate. Because he knew this was Ping Han's last chance. Outside the examination room, Su Yanniang walked out with a weak face, and there was still a lot of regret in his eyes. Especially when he thought about his action of selling Kaiyongjian coins in advance. The more he thought about it, the more upset he became. At this moment, he saw Zhang Yu, who was sent to the outside of the examination room and was receiving treatment from the god of orthodoxy. Seeing the other party's bloody appearance, Su Yanniang suddenly felt a lot better. You were so seriously injured by the attack of a mere yellow-turban warrior, you are so arrogant, you are just a junior, and you come to take the military certificate exam. Su Yanniang thought to himself, you are going to lose money. At this moment, a violent killing intent swept over, scaring Su Yanniang. He turned around and found that it was Zhao Yunji, who had turned back into human form and walked over. At this moment, Zhao Yunji's face was distorted, and he gnashed his teeth. The dharmakaya on his body twisted from time to time, as if he had his own consciousness. Su Yanniang silently stepped back a few steps, trying to stay away from Zhao Yunji. He thought to himself, this woman. Did she also sell Kaiyongjian coins? At the same time, Ping Han also walked over under the gaze of everyone. Su Yanniang looked at the other party, who was intact and calm, and couldn't help asking, did you sell Kaiyongjian coins? Ping Han smiled faintly and said, enter the guidance group. You can see my position configuration, but I'm in a good mood today, I can show you for free. As he spoke, Su Yanniang's eyes had already emerged with the screenshots released by the other party. Su Yanniang sighed in his heart, this guy, isn't he the slightest bit shaken? Ping Han said, Su junior brother, you can't achieve success in cryptocurrency trading without repeated losses and repeated tempering of your heart. If you are interested, you can join the guidance group. I will teach you my experience and show you my operations every day. Su Yanniang repeatedly looked at the profit screenshots sent by Ping Han, and at this moment he also had the idea of joining the group. On the other side, Zhao Yunji had no interest in cryptocurrency trading at the moment. She looked directly at Ping Han and asked coldly, at the end, what is the completeness of your formation eye? Ping Han casually said, 100%. Zhao Yunji's eyes dimmed when she heard this, knowing that her chances of winning were zero. On the other side, the other candidates heard this and looked at Ping Han with envy, thinking that this genius who made a lot of money in cryptocurrency trading would probably win the military certificate this time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 435. I couldn't help but hum. Su Yanniang and another candidate gathered around Ping Han and asked him about his experience in currency trading. In their eyes, there was a lot to learn from this senior who had accumulated a lot of experience and finally won the military certificate with the Kaiyongjian coin. Ping Han also patiently answered the two people's questions, and finally successfully pulled them into the paid guidance group. In the process of talking to the two people, Ping Han also asked about their test performance without leaving any trace, confirming that the two people performed poorly and had no chance of getting the military certificate. Then Ping Han glanced at the distraught Zhao Yunji again, and thought to himself, Zhao Yunji became like this after asking me about the completeness of the formation eye. It is likely that he lost to me in this aspect. As for Zhang Yu, who was bloody and mangled on the side, Ping Han did not regard this junior student as an opponent. At this moment, looking at the other party's seriously injured appearance, He did not think that the other party had the possibility of winning the military certificate. Looking at the situation of the candidates other than himself, Ping Han was already 99% sure that he would definitely win the military certificate this time. Although he remained calm on the surface, he couldn't help but feel a little excited in his heart, just because the military certificate was too important for a student. With this military certificate, I can practice the Heaven Kunlun mountain moving power. Feeling the civil and engineering 7 wonders that he had practiced for many years, Ping Han felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart. Not only do I have the opportunity to compete for the first place in the inter-school league, but with a Heaven Kunlun mountain moving power, my chances of success in the future postgraduate entrance examination and the Golden Elixir certificate will be greatly increased. It will be a smooth road. At this moment, Ping Han felt that there was endless hope in the future immortal road, and he couldn't help but hum in his heart. However, he quickly suppressed the excitement in his heart, and kept reminding himself to keep his heart steady and not to make any mistakes at this critical moment. Achieving the Golden Elixir in the future is just the beginning. My path to immortality is still long. Thinking of this, Ping Han smiled at Xiao Yunji and said, "Xiao, a failed exam is nothing. Do you want to learn about the Kaiyongjiang coin? It will definitely be of great help to your future practice." Xiao Yunji raised her head and looked at Ping Han in front of her. She felt that the other party did not have the extreme and arrogant attitude that he had after making money from buying coins. Ping Han's mentality at the moment was indeed very good, especially since Xiao Yunji in front of him was already a defeated opponent in his eyes, no longer his opponent, but could be transformed into his immortal potential. Seeing a hint of hesitation in Xiao Yunji's eyes, Ping Han didn't care and continued, "How about I send you a document first? You can take a look and understand it first. If you are interested, we can continue to talk." After sending the document to Xiao Yunji, Ping Han said to Zhang Yu, "Zhang Zudi, are you interested in learning more? It will definitely make you reborn, and your chances of winning the next military certificate exam will increase greatly." Seeing Zhang Yu shook his head, Ping Han didn't care. Anyway, Zhang Yu didn't have much money in his opinion, so he simply continued to answer Su Yanniang's questions. While Ping Han and others were communicating, Zhang Yu received a message from his class teacher Jiao Lei. "Master Jiao Lei, Director Lin asked me to bring you a message. Master Jiao Lei, if you are willing to become his disciple, he is willing to help you get through the financial department and approve a loan of 600 spirit coins." Seeing the number of 600 spirit coins, Zhang Yu felt his heart beating violently, and almost hurt his internal organs again. 600 spirit coins. With these 600 spirit coins, just when Zhang Yu was thinking about it, another teacher added him as a friend and said to him, "Zhang Yu, Ling Gaiyu's Henzhen wants to accept you as a disciple. I wonder if you are interested?" The other party continued, "The conditions are easy to negotiate, and they will never be lower than those of other schools. Ling Gaiyu's Henzhen is the director of the civil engineering department, and the Yuanying's Henzhen, who is called the old director by Tulishan." Looking at the news brought by Director Lin and the old director, Zhang Yu's spirit, which had just been boiling because of the 600 spirit coins loan, gradually calmed down at this moment. "It seems that my military certificate exam this time has attracted their attention. Even if the Heavenly Court has not announced the news, they already think that I can get the military certificate in 9 out of 10 cases." After calming down, Zhang Yu did not rush to agree to anything with Director Lin and the old director, but just left a chance to consider and talk again. Zhang Yu's eyes casually swept over Ping Han and others on the side, but he was thinking about his future path in his heart. Director Lin has the finance department behind him. A loan of 600 spirit coins is a big deal, enough to make my cultivation speed leap forward, but the finance department is not suitable for me. It requires background, connections and a lot of money. It is not a path that can be taken by talent and skills alone, and the finance department has too many ways to take advantage of people. They approved a loan of 600 spirit coins for me right away. God knows how many traps are waiting for me. Although he was reluctant to give up the 600 spirit coins loan, Zhang Yu knew that he was not qualified to choose the finance department, even if he had a military certificate. Then the figure of Ling Gaiyu's Henzhen emerged in his mind again. Let's not talk about the development route of the neutral faction. The old director himself is a big thunder. Zhang Yu has been in the civil engineering department for a long time. With the help of well-informed people such as Tulishan and Fen Tingting, he still knows a lot of information. For example, Ling Gaiyu's Henzhen is old and his life is coming to an end. He has been trying to prolong his life over the years. The old director has already stepped into the spirit world. If I become his disciple, will he have the time and resources to train me in exchange for future rewards? I'm afraid he can't wait for the rewards I will bring him in the future. I'm afraid he will squeeze out my value as soon as I enter the sect and use it to prolong my life. After a little thought, Zhang Yu realized that Director Lin and the old director were not good choices. However, although Zhang Yu did not plan to choose these two paths, it did not mean that these two paths were useless. Director Gao and the true Lord of Magnetic Pole will come to talk to me soon, right? Keeping these two paths will also raise my price. A moment later, the candidates were sent back to the university town of Wanfa University by Deng Bingding. Before the candidates left, Deng Bingding sent them a website. The examination results have been reported to the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court will complete the review and approval within 15 working days and announce the results. This website is for publishing the examination results. Ping Han couldn't help but ask, how soon will it be? Deng Bingding glanced at Ping Han, with a trace of pity that the other party could hardly detect, and said lightly, the Heavenly Court is also very busy. It will take at least 3 or 5 working days. After a while, everyone dispersed, and Deng Bingding took Zhang Yu to the hospital for examination. Deng Bingding said with emotion, Student Zhang Yu, I didn't expect that in less than 2.5 years of college, you have made more progress than in 3 years of high school. The two then exchanged pleasantries along the way, and after arriving at the hospital, Zhang Yu asked the doctor to help prescribe a bag of medicine, and then took the initiative to ask to be discharged from the hospital. He thought to himself, with my recovery ability, although the injury is serious, it will be fine after a few days of rest. There is no need to stay in the hospital for observation. Besides, it is not easy for Lao Go either. Let's save some money for him. This bag of medicine is enough. But when Zhang Yu walked slowly through a street, he found that all the shops on both sides of the street were closed, and there was no passerby around. Zhang Yu looked up at the entrance and exit of the street and found that passers-by seemed to not see this road. They all turned a blind eye to it and took the initiative to go around it. Just when Zhang Yu was in doubt, a figure who seemed to be wearing Zingai walked in front of him. Zhang Yu said in surprise, Senior Sister Yi. Yi Zingli looked at Zhang Yu in front of him with a strange face, and then silently took out the Zuanpan Dzi bead of the magnetic pole True Lord. The next moment, a graceful figure dressed in palace clothes emerged. It was the incarnation that the magnetic pole True Lord had used to talk to Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu also understood in an instant that this street had been taken over by the 9 heavens Yuanyang Tower of the True Lord of Magnetic Pole. All the substances intertwined with the spirit world were suppressed by it, and it became a street that others could not see. Zhang Yu, True Lord, the True Lord of Magnetic Pole chatted privately, how did you do in the military certificate exam? After a conversation with the True Lord of Kian, the True Lord of Magnetic Pole understood that Zhang Yu must have performed well in the military certificate exam, and even had the possibility of winning the military certificate, which led the True Lord of Kian to ask about the situation. But the True Lord of Magnetic Pole still decided to ask in person. After all, only from Zhang Yu's mouth could he get the most real situation of the other party in the examination room. So Zhang Yu also sent a message and briefly told the situation. The True Lord of Magnetic Pole nodded slightly and replied with satisfaction, not bad, not bad. I thought you were just taking a casual test, but I didn't expect to have an unexpected surprise. After that, Master Siji touched Zhang Yu's wound and sighed softly, such a serious injury, why don't you stay in the hospital for more rest? Zhang Yu said, I have a good physique, I can just rest for a few days, no need to waste money in the hospital. Master Siji, what do you want? Master Siji said lightly, you want to go back to the dormitory? Let's talk about it while we walk. After that, Master Siji stretched out his hand and grabbed Zhang Yu in his arms. You are so seriously injured, don't run around by yourself, I will take you back. Yi Zingli, who was watching this scene, was shocked. The conversation between Master Siji and Zhang Yu just now was conducted through private chat, and Yi Zingli did not know the content of the conversation between the two parties. Seeing Master Siji holding Zhang Yu and walking out, Yi Zingli was shocked and said subconsciously, Master, there are people outside. Master Siji waved his sleeves and covered Zhang Yu, and casually said, it's okay, I'll cover it myself, no one can find it. Seeing Master Siji holding Zhang Yu and walking on the street, Yi Zingli followed him, and her heart seemed to be filled with waves. She recalled the past and confirmed one thing in her heart. This was the first time she saw Master or the incarnation of Master holding someone else. Master, Is he possessed? Such a calm, aloof, and self-centered person actually carried someone else's students back to the dormitory. Being held in the arms of Master Siji, Zhang Yu became more and more nervous. Especially when he felt the coming and going of people around him. Although he knew that no one should be able to see him under the cover of Master Siji, he still felt awkward. Zhang Yu immediately said, "Master, just tell me what you want to say." Master Ji chuckled, looked at Zhang Yu in his arms and said, "Lao Gao held you like this in the examination room, right? What do you think of him?" Chapter 436, Mentor Chooses Future Path. Lord Magnetic Pole, I heard that your students performed well in this military certificate exam. Director Gao, did you hear about it? Director Gao, they did perform well. Director Gao, it's a pity that there is only one certificate. Lord Magnetic Pole, then you have to hurry up and accept Zhang Yu as a formal disciple. Lord Magnetic Pole, there are so many people watching in the exam room. If he performs well, I'm afraid many people will rush to grab it. Lord Magnetic Pole, be especially careful of the other two directors of your department. They may have already made an offer. Looking at the reminder sent by Lord Magnetic Pole, Director Gao felt a kind of care from the other party for himself, and thought, although he looks a little unreliable at ordinary times, after all, we have been friends for hundreds of years. This guy is still on my side at the critical moment. As for Lord Magnetic Pole's reminder, Director Gao had naturally thought of it a long time ago. If it was an ordinary student, he was willing to be the other party's mentor, and the other party would probably be more than happy. The whole process only required a word from him. After becoming a student's mentor, he can specify courses for the other party, arrange internship projects, and choose the direction of postgraduate and doctoral examinations. In short, as long as the student still wants to make progress, the mentor has great restraint on the student. In addition to the constraints brought by the mentor relationship, many teachers and students will sign another contract. This situation often occurs when the students are particularly outstanding. The mentor needs to invest in the students and also needs to guarantee future returns. Director Gao replied, I understand, I have already drafted the contract. Looking at Director Gao's reply, Master Siji smiled slightly, then turned to look at Zhang Yu in his arms, as if waiting for Zhang Yu's reply. In addition to further clarifying what happened in the military certificate exam, Master Siji's second purpose in meeting Zhang Yu today is to confirm Zhang Yu's thoughts, or ambitions. Hearing the question from Master Siji, Zhang Yu was slightly stunned and said, Teacher Gao is a good person. Yes, Lao Gao is really good to his own people, Master Siji said lightly, but Lao Gao is too weak, he can't protect you. Feeling Zhang Yu's puzzled eyes, Master Siji continued, a genius like you needs enough freedom to display his talents. The less constraints on you, the more room you have to grow, and the greater the constraints on you, the more you waste your potential, and even make you resentful and lazy in the way of immortality. It's like the ace sales in the company. The more authority you give out and the higher the commission, the more people will work hard to create the greatest profit. Otherwise, both sides will suffer. But Lao Gao, how much freedom can he give you? Master Siji said lightly, this is not a question of whether he wants to or not, but an objective fact that cannot be changed by the will of the two of you. After all, the less constraints he has on you, the more difficult it is to prevent others from poaching you. Don't tell me that you won't leave even if someone offers a high price. The ultimate way out for the civil engineering department is to leave the construction site. On the other hand, the greater the restrictions that Lao Gao imposes on you, the more he will suppress your talents, and eventually block your path to immortality and make you hostile. It's hard to achieve a balance between you two. It's just because Lao Gao is from the civil engineering department. Beautiful flowers can't bloom on the barren land of the construction site. The civil engineering department is also destined to not be able to hold students like you for a long time. On the street, Zhang Yu was held in the arms of the magnetic pole master. He listened quietly to what the other party said, and had to admit that what the magnetic pole master said made sense. Zhang Yu, Master, do you want me to make our relationship public and transfer to another department as soon as possible? Magnetic pole master, this contract is not easy to draft, right? Director Gao, Alice, it is a bit difficult to grasp. Director Gao, others must have also made conditions for Zhang Yu. Director Gao, I can't make it too bad, otherwise even if he signs now, he will definitely feel resentful in the future, and his work and practice efficiency will definitely drop significantly. Director Gao, in addition, I'm afraid that people from other departments will poach him. In Director Gao's opinion, it is a foregone conclusion that Zhang Yu will advance to the golden core in the future, and he also has a good chance of impacting the nascent soul. Therefore, his goal is to train Zhang Yu up, make the pie bigger, and get more rewards. Instead of wasting the other party's potential and eating up the other party at the Zhenzhen or even foundation building stage. After all, for him, the value of a yuaning is far greater than a Zhenzhen. So how to protect his own interests while not suppressing Zhang Yu's development in the contract? This took Director Gao a long time to consider. Magnetic Pole Master, I will help you with the refining department. I guarantee that no one will come to poach him. Magnetic Pole Master, but I can't say about the finance department. Magnetic Pole Master, those blood-sucking zombies are too bad, and they are used to spending money. I'm afraid your students can't stand it. Looking at Magnetic Pole Master's speech, Director Gao also sighed in his heart. When he thought that Zhang Yu might become Director Lin's or even the finance department's disciple, his face looked ugly. Magnetic Pole Master, I have a way. Director Gao, what is it? Magnetic Pole Master, forget it, just ignore what I said. Director Gao, don't try to be so mean. We have been friends for hundreds of years. What can't be said? Lord Magnetic Pole, how about I protect you and your disciple? Lord Magnetic Pole, I will set up a company with you, and then sign Zhang Yu. I will protect you, and no one will dare to poach you. Lord Magnetic Pole, forget it. Lord Magnetic Pole, by then, you in the civil engineering department will definitely say that you sent your talent to me. Lord Magnetic Pole, it seems as if I want to steal your disciple. Lord Magnetic Pole saw that Director Gao had not replied to the message for a long time, and he was not in a hurry. He turned to look at Zhang Yu in his arms and said, there is no rush to transfer to another department, since you have already passed a military civil engineering certificate. You should stay in the civil engineering department first, and learn the power of Yuan Kunlun to move mountains first. With this military-grade technique as a foundation, your physical body will be the best natural treasure. And you will benefit a lot from refining the skeleton in the future, and you will be one step ahead of others. If this technique is combined with refining, it can also have many wonderful uses. If you can combine the techniques of refining and civil engineering in the future, it will also be a great help. Zhang Yu asked, what about the two military-grade skills of the equipment refining department, the invisible heart soldiers of the heaven and earth destruction tribulation, and the grand void divine artifact strategy? Did you ask me to transfer to the equipment refining department earlier so that I could have the opportunity to learn these two military-grade skills? Master CG said, the power of Kunlun to move mountains, if you miss it, you will miss it forever. You can wait until you take the master's degree exam for the equipment refining department in the future to learn the military-grade skills of the equipment refining department. It won't take too long. When you have practiced the power of Kunlun to move mountains in the past 2 years, you can also complete the credits of the civil engineering department in advance, and then graduate early to take the master's exam for the equipment refining department. It's only 2 years later to come to the equipment refining department in exchange for a military-grade martial art. It's worth it. After Zhang Yu pondered for a moment, he asked, then, will I have a chance to enter the sect in the future? Huh? Master CG looked at Zhang Yu unexpectedly and said, do you want to join the sect? Zhang Yu faced the gaze of Master CG and said frankly, since you want to climb to the top of the immortal path, how can you not join the sect? Your ambition is commendable. Master CG sighed, I won't hide it from you, so that you won't blame me in the future. Nowadays, it is becoming more and more difficult to enter the sect, not to mention that you need at least a doctoral degree and nascent soul cultivation. Even if you have won awards during your undergraduate studies, you must at least win awards in the inter-school league, preferably the top 10 leagues, but these have nothing to do with you at the moment. After all, in the eyes of those people in the sect who are too picky, an undergraduate degree in civil engineering is no different from a junior college degree. They just take a look and throw it away. Master Siji said, if you want to enter the sect, you have to transfer to another department in your junior year, but to be honest, by the time you graduate with a doctorate, the sect's requirements will probably have risen. This path, Master Siji pondered for a while, and finally said, it's not for normal people, it's for those reincarnated great men. Don't ask for details. My advice to you is, since you have the opportunity, you should stay in civil engineering and learn the magical power of Yuan Kunlun to move mountains first to expand your horizons. If you achieve nascent soul in the future, you will not regret your choice today. Lord CG didn't finish his words, but his meaning was clearly expressed. It was obvious that he was not optimistic about the junior year's transformation into refining equipment and the sect examination. Zhang Yu asked, what if I could master the power of moving mountains in Kunlun in my junior year, and then switch to refining equipment? The eyes of the magnetic pole master flashed. Impossible. Not to mention whether you can master it, just to get the 7 wonders of civil engineering. When he said this, the magnetic pole master paused for a moment, and then said thoughtfully, it's not completely impossible. The magnetic pole master explained, the university war is getting more and more intense, and more schools are preparing for it. The various competitions are also becoming more and more important because of the improvement of students' strength. Even the annual competition system has changed in recent years. The cross-school competition of the civil engineering department is naturally more important than in the past. This time, Lao Gao might arrange for you to join Mo Engine's team to impact the cross-school league. Under normal circumstances, if you want to be awarded the 7 wonders of civil engineering, even if you have to pass the 7 civil engineering items, you can't avoid the various restrictions on qualifications, years of service, and comprehensive scores. But taking advantage of the opportunity of this cross-school league, it is indeed possible to make the professors of the civil engineering department make some concessions and lower the requirements, so that you have the opportunity to learn all the 7 wonders of civil engineering. Hearing what Master Siji said, Zhang Yu also thought, chaos is a ladder. This is indeed my chance. Seeing Zhang Yu's eager expression, Master Siji said calmly, then you can try it, but if you fail, then stay in the civil engineering department and wait until you have learned the power of moving mountains from Kunlun. Zhang Yu nodded firmly, and then asked, what about Director Gao? At this moment, a message jumped in front of Zhang Yu's eyes, which was a message from Director Gao. Director Gao, Zhang Yu, what do you think of Master Siji? At this moment, the spiritual world around Zhang Yu had been suppressed by Master Siji with the 9 heavens Yuanyang Tower, and the flowing spiritual world news was clear in her eyes. Zhang Yu only felt that his body was tightly hugged by Master Siji, restricting all movements. Then, Lord Magnet stretched out his hand and grasped the message about Director Gao that appeared in Zhang Yu's eyes, and said with a smile, don't move, let me deal with him. Zhang Yu, who is Lord Magnet? Chapter 437 Signing a Contract. Director Gao, Magnetic Master. Director Gao, that's the teacher from the Equipment Refining Department. Director Gao, didn't I invite him to coach you in the last civil engineering competition? Zhang Yu, oh, this is him? He's from the Equipment Refining Department? I wouldn't have known if you hadn't told me. Zhang Yu, after all, he's not a teacher from our civil engineering department. We haven't had any contact since that coaching. I don't even remember his name. Director Gao, so what do you think of equipment refining? Zhang Yu, I'm quite interested in refining equipment. Feeling that Zhang Yu and his arms moved slightly, Master CG smiled and said, be good and don't move, or are you uncomfortable with me holding you? Zhang Yu, no. Master CG raised the corners of his mouth slightly, then it's very comfortable. Looking at the stunned Zhang Yu, Master CG asked again, are you more comfortable in Teacher Gao's arms or in my arms? Zhang Yu, looking at Zhang Yu's dazed look, Fuji sighed, Zhang Yu, you're done. I think this guy is a natural nemesis of your civil engineering department. Neither you master nor your disciple can beat her. Zhang Yu responded to Fuji in his mind, I just didn't react for a moment and didn't know how to reply. Fuji said, anyway, you'd better be careful. This guy is obviously a guy who will do anything to achieve his goals. The way he talks to you now is very targeted. He must have studied your temperament and habits in detail. At the same time, Director Gao on the other side has replied, you want to learn refining equipment? Zhang Yu, I think that Dharmakaya and magic weapons are both indispensable to the path of immortality. Zhang Yu, it is definitely beneficial to learn more about refining equipment, and you can avoid being cheated when buying magic weapons. Zhang Yu, as for learning the real refining technology, how can I have the conditions? Zhang Yu, teacher, now I just want to concentrate on learning the things in our civil engineering department, and quickly practice the Tian Kunlun mountain moving power, so that I can do a great job on the construction site in the future. Director Gao, laughing, don't worry, you have a chance to learn. Zhang Yu, teacher, then after the military certificate is issued this time, can I try the 7 civil engineering items? Director Gao, you see, you are anxious again. Director Gao, as long as the Heavenly Court has not announced the results, everything is not settled. Director Gao, before that, you must pay attention to the impact, and don't spread the news of the military certificate everywhere, understand? Zhang Yu, I understand, teacher. Zhang Yu, I just want to learn the power of moving mountains from Kunlun. Watching the conversation between Master Siji and Director Gao, Zhang Yu thought to himself, does Master Siji make Director Gao think that I want to stay in the civil engineering department and learn the power of moving mountains from Kunlun? At the same time, after chatting for a few more sentences, Director Gao asked, did Director Lin look for you? Master Siji looked at Zhang Yu and asked, did he look for you? So Zhang Yu immediately told Director Lin and the old director everything about the visit and the quotation. Master Siji also told Director Gao everything. After a moment, Lord Siji closed the dialogue box, looked at Zhang Yu and said, next. Lao Gao should soon ask you to sign a contract and officially accept you as his disciple. Just sign it with him when the time comes. As if sensing the doubt in Zhang Yu's eyes, Lord Siji said lightly, don't worry, this contract will be relatively loose and will not be too restrictive on you. As for your relationship with me, Lord Siji raised the corners of his mouth slightly, looked at Zhang Yu in his arms, and showed a smile that everything was under control. Compared to status, I care more about the actual results. Next, before you practice the Tian Kunlun power to move mountains, you should just be a good disciple of Lao Gao, my civil engineering genius. Classmate Zhang Yu asked. What if I had practiced a Tian Kunlun power to move mountains in my junior year? Lord Siji said indifferently. Let's talk about it after you have practiced it. Although he judged that there was this possibility, it was obvious that in the eyes of Lord Siji, this possibility was not high. At the same time, Yi Zingli followed Master Siji all the way. Seeing that they were getting closer and closer to Zhang Yu's dormitory, she gradually became anxious. We are almost at Zhang Yu's place, why are you still chatting? Should I remind you? But seeing that Master Siji and Zhang Yu were chatting happily, Yi Zingli hesitated whether to interrupt. At an empty street corner. With a thump, Zhang Yu fell heavily to the ground like a truckload of goods. Master Siji smiled and said, boy, the food in the exam room is pretty good this time. Zhang Yu smiled awkwardly. He did pick up some food in the exam room this time. Zhang Yu, Master, I'll go back first, Master Siji said lightly. Well, get busy. Looking at Zhang Yu's back, Master Siji's figure flashed slightly and disappeared without a trace. Zingli, you can give more guidance to this kid on his weapon refining techniques in the future. Hearing what Master Siji said, Yi Zingli couldn't help but ask, Master, you treat him, seems to be different from other students. Master Siji said indifferently, different students should be taught in different ways. This is called teaching students in accordance with their aptitude. Do you know Zhang Yu's roommates? Zhang Yu's roommates? Yi Zingli really didn't know them, and didn't think there was anything to know. Master Siji continued, Zhang Yu's roommates are all his fellow villagers from the first floor. Yi Zingli was surprised and said, all from the first floor. Yi Zingli thought she had no prejudice or discrimination against the people of the first floor. She just felt that most of the people of the first floor were poor and stupid, and the potential for immortality was also very weak. Zhang Yu, a genius who could climb all the way from the first floor, was already beyond Yi Zingli's expectations. She didn't expect Zhang Yu to still live with his fellow villagers from the first floor. How could he live like this? Magnet Master said, in general, according to various data, Zhang Yu is a person who cherishes the past. Magnet Master sighed as if he recalled something. Haha, nostalgia. How long have I not said this word? After Zhang Yu returned to the dormitory, he laid down with a thud. His seriously injured body had long been overwhelmed, and now all things had finally come to an end, making him relax all over. Tulishan, how did you do in the exam? Looking at the message sent by Tulishan, and recalling the waves of care he received after the military certificate exam today, Zhang Yu sighed in his heart. Who said Kung Fu is unkind? As my grades get better and better, the human touch of Wanfa University is getting stronger and stronger. Not long after Zhang Yu lay down, the cold power of the ceremony emerged again. Zhang Yu sighed helplessly and simply went to Taking Realm to start studying the subsequent refining courses there. A few hours later, Zhang Yu received a message from Director Gao, intending to accept him as a formal disciple and sign a supplementary contract. After taking a look at the contents of the contract, Zhang Yu thought that what Magistrate Ji said was indeed right. The contents of the contract were relatively loose and did not restrict him too much. But, is it signed with the company? Is this company Director Gao's company? Zhang Yu continued to read it. In general, according to the contents of this contract, the company will reimburse him 30 spirit coins for his training expenses every month until he passes the Giant in qualification certificate. After Zhang Yu breaks through to the Jinden stage, he needs to take on a certain amount of work according to the requirements, and the profits will be divided 55-55 between him and the company. As for many other details, they are also based on this. Zhang Yu sighed, 30 spirit coins a month, that's 360 spirit coins a year. I didn't expect that before I knew it, I would become a student who could spend so much money a year, Fuji commented. This is a rare conscientious contract in Kung Fu. According to the provisions of this contract, Director Gao will only make a small profit after you break through to the Golden Core stage, but once you break through to the Nascent Soul stage, it will be a big profit. It seems that Director Gao really intends to bet that you can reach the Nascent Soul stage. As for when you reach the spiritual transformation stage, I guess this contract will have to be renegotiated. So the next day, Zhang Yu and Director Gao signed the contract under the witness of the gods and became Director Gao's official disciple. Director Gao looked at Zhang Yu in front of him, nodded with satisfaction, and then asked, I asked you to get a good treatment yesterday, why did you run away from the hospital by yourself? Zhang Yu said, Teacher, you know my physique, there is no need to waste money in the hospital, you kid. Director Gao laughed and scolded, do I need you to save money from me? After that, he stretched out his hand to take Zhang Yu over, and his magic power wandered in Zhang Yu's body. At this moment, Director Gao felt that Zhang Yu's injuries had indeed improved a lot. Especially when he felt the vitality in his flesh and blood, he became more and more satisfied with his disciple Zhang Yu. However, on the surface he remained calm and only said, the civil engineering competition is coming soon. You have to take time to take care of your health, okay? Zhang Yu said in surprise. Isn't the civil engineering competition in December? It's only October now, right? Director Gao said, starting from this session, the competition process will be changed again. After all, in recent years, students' practical level has been getting higher and higher, and the intensity of competition has been getting stronger and stronger. In this case, it is too easy to get injured after completing the competition in 1 or 2 days. It not only increases the cost of the competition, but also makes it easy for students to not be able to fully display their strength. In terms of cross-school competitions, some schools have always protested. This year, the cross-school league of the civil engineering competition has been changed to compete in a few games at regular intervals, and the entire competition will be completed in a few months. At our university, the departmental competition is also planned to be changed in this way. The competition will start in late October and last until December. After hearing what Director Gao said, Zhang Yu felt that this change was not bad. At least it was huge good news for him, giving him more time to recover from his injuries and improve his strength. Director Gao looked at Zhang Yu and said, there is one more thing I want to tell you in advance. In the department competition, you can lead your current team to the top 7 and win a spot in the 7 Wonders. When the inter-school league starts, I will add you to Bai Zhenzhen's team, and you can go with him to see for yourself. Chapter 438 Military Certificate announced. Listening to what Director Gao said, Zhang Yu's heart moved. He knew that the internal competition was a selection competition organized by Wanfa University itself. The so-called first place represented the civil engineering department to participate in the inter-school league, which was also a rule set by the civil engineering department itself, which was used to resolve factional disputes such as the war faction and the peace faction. In theory, the participating players of this team can be adjusted to a certain extent. But this is more or less suspected of a secret operation and backdoor. However, Zhang Yu thought that he had already obtained a military certificate at that time, and even if he really did so, no one would gossip. It feels good to go through the back door with strength, Director Gao continued. Okay, then you should take good care of your injuries. If you have any problems and don't want to go to the hospital, then go to Zhao Kingsuan for treatment, but ancient medical skills are still not very fairy-like in many places, and the principles have not been fully explored yet. You can believe it? Zhang Yu asked in confusion. Believe it if you believe it, Director Gao said. Believe it if it works, and stop if it doesn't work. After completing the contract, Zhang Yu had a monthly reimbursement quota of 30 spirit coins. On the way back to the dormitory, he had already started thinking about how to spend the money. Spiritual services are definitely needed. There are also 2 aspects, medicine and Taoist services. Alice, the materials for refining equipment cannot be reimbursed. Then I can only try to rely on these 30 spirit coins to reimburse other expenses. The saved spirit coins will be used to practice refining skills. With a trace of helplessness in his heart, Zhang Yu returned to the dormitory and went to taking realm again to start studying the refining course. He thought to himself, when the military certificate comes, I guess I will have to hurry up to study the 7 wonders of civil engineering. By then, I may not have much time to study online. Although he has a high probability of getting a military certificate this time, Zhang Yu did not get too proud of it. After all, his goal is to participate in the top 10 leagues and be admitted to the top 10 sects. And to achieve this, he still feels that there is not enough time. Especially after witnessing the battle between Mo Enjin and Zhuan Liangshan last year, he understands that there is still a huge gap between him and those senior students who have mastered military-level martial arts. And Mo Entropy Jin also failed to defeat Xi'an Iao University and win the first place in the Inter-School Civil Engineering League. Above Mo Entropy Jin, there are students in the top universities' trump card majors who have mastered military-grade Taoism, military-grade law skeletons, military-grade magic weapons, and even divine roots. Zhang Yu sighed in his heart, I am at least 3 or 4 levels away from the real top level among college students now, right? If I want to successfully transfer to the refining department during college, time will be even tighter. Thinking of this, Zhang Yu felt tense all over again, and began to take advantage of this time to recuperate his body to study online courses and taking realm. Just as Zhang Yu was seizing the time and studying silently. On a training ground, a senior civil engineering student smiled and said to Ping Han, Brother Han, you are sure to get the military certificate this time, right? Ping Han waved his hand and said, the results haven't come out yet. The senior civil engineering student said, we have all heard from the participating candidates that your performance this time was the best. Who else can get the military certificate if not you? Ping Han stopped the other party from continuing, don't talk nonsense, just wait for the results to be announced. At this moment, another student said, Brother Han, what do you think of the trend of Kaiyongjian coin in the future? Ping Han smiled slightly and said confidently, Kaiyongjian God is a veteran incarnation, and he has the endorsement of Hudong University. Dual cultivation is an indispensable element in immortal technology and is a rigid demand for countless cultivators, especially because the lottery for Kaiyongjian God will start tomorrow. With such good news, the coin price will definitely soar again after tomorrow. The conference for the redemption of the prizes of thousands of fellow practitioners will be broadcast live at that time. It can be said to be a spring thunder, opening a new chapter in the dual cultivation industry and forming a siphon effect. Now is the window period for grabbing money. If you want to ask me for advice, it is to buy. It's never too late to buy Kaiyongjian coins. The students around nodded their heads, looking more serious than in class. When Mo Enjin arrived, he saw everyone surrounding Ping Han, listening to him talk about Kaiyongjian coins. Seeing this, Mo Enjin frowned slightly and coughed, get ready for training. After reminding several times, watching the team members reluctantly leave, Mo Enjin's brows frowned even tighter. Ping Han looked at Mo Enjin and said with a smile, Old Mo, have you read the information I sent you? Mo Enjin said lightly, the fluctuation of Kaiyongjian coin is too big, I don't play this. Ping Han laughed, I know, you love the school, and you only buy coins from our Wanfa University, but you should really try it this time. From the lottery of Kaiyongjian God to the conference of thousands of fellow practitioners, the price of Kaiyongjian coin will definitely soar in the next period of time. It's like picking up money with your eyes closed. Mo Enjin waved his hand to stop him and said, okay, you don't have to tell me. During the next training, don't tell others about the currency speculation. It will affect everyone's state, but in the next few days, as the rumors about Ping Han's military certificate in the civil engineering department became more and more widespread, and the Kaiyongjian coin continued to grow, Mo Enjin found that the atmosphere in the team was getting more and more wrong. When the teammates were training, they always looked absent-minded, obviously observing the price trend of the currency from time to time. There were often team members standing there with a dazed look on their faces, or asking Ping Han about the currency speculation whenever they had time. There were even several people who asked Mo Enjin to borrow money to increase their holdings of Kaiyongjian coins. Even Ping Han. Mo Enjin could feel that he was paying less and less attention to training. He was either chatting with people in the guidance group or posting various things on the internet to promote Kaiyongjian coins. So one day, Mo Enjin finally couldn't help but find him. But in the face of Mo Enjin's accusations, Ping Han said confidently, we are clearly the first in the department competition. There is no need to rush to train, right? If you have this time, You might as well borrow more money and buy some Kyongjian coins. Isn't the improvement brought by down-to-earth currency speculation more reliable than your training, which is a frivolous thing? After many fruitless negotiations, the two sides broke out into a more intense quarrel. In the end, with a bang, Ping Han was knocked out by Mo Engine's palm. Mo Entropy said coldly, "If you continue to destroy the team's atmosphere and take everyone to study Kyongjian coin all day, then quit the team." Standing up silently, Ping Han looked at Mo Entropy deeply and said slowly, "Mo Entropy, I have the opportunity to make money with everyone. What's wrong? You have missed the opportunity yourself. Do you also want us to make less money? Mo Entropy, get out." The invisible force knocked Ping Han out with a bang, like a meteor shooting out, flying hundreds of meters along the way, and finally fell heavily to the ground. Mo Entropy looked at the other team members and said coldly, "Who else has the same idea as him? Go by yourself." "No, then concentrate on training next." On the other side, Ping Han slowly stood up, his heart boiling with anger. "Mo Entropy, now you have mastered military-level martial arts. You are stronger. It doesn't matter if you kick me. Wait until the military certificate comes down. I will practice the power of moving mountains in Kunlun. I will wait for you to invite me back." In the dormitory, Zhang Yu swung his fists and feet, feeling his physical condition. "The injury has almost healed. It looks like I can go back to the construction site to work tomorrow." Just then, the Magnetic Pole Master sent a message. "Magnetic Pole Master, from now on, you can find Yi Zingli to order a magic weapon with 30 spirit coins per month for cultivation. Magnetic Pole Master, Yi Zingli will send you an order, and then you can refine the magic weapon yourself." Looking at the message sent by the Magnetic Pole Master, Zhang Yu's eyes moved. If this is done, wouldn't the magic weapon and the funds for purchasing the magic weapon all belong to him? At most, I will pay for the materials, Zhang Yu thought to himself. In this way, I can use the monthly 30 spirit coins to refine the weapon. So in the next few days, Zhang Yu continued to return to his daily life of wandering between the classroom, the construction site, the spirit world, and the taking realm. Classes, working, learning civil engineering knowledge, learning refining courses, practicing refining skills, almost occupied Zhang Yu's entire life. With more abundant financial support, Zhang Yu felt that his refining skills had made great progress, and an idea came to his mind. Zhang Yu looked at the chain method diagram set of the weapon refining prodigy and the treasure appraisal technique, and thought to himself, after I have more funds, maybe I should find some time to try to practice the weapon refining technique. The civil engineering competition in the department was indeed held in advance, as Director Gao said. Zhang Yu and Shihua Iu still formed a team and participated in the first round of the selection. The content of the selection was the same as the previous session, a high-speed sprint in a chaotic force field. And finally the top 20 teams in the team were selected. As for the battle of the top 20, it was arranged for a few days later. The battle list has been decided, but looking at his opponent this time, it surprised Zhang Yu a little. Ma Zhuan again. Zhang Yu recalled the hard battle last year and his progress in the past year, and thought to himself, this time it should be easy. Ma Zhuan's competition group. Ma Zhuan, I didn't expect that her opponent this time is Zhang Yu again. Su Yanniang, I will take you flying this time. Su Yanniang, I have seen Zhang Yu's level. I am afraid that his progress in this year is far less than mine. Ma Zhuan, haha, if the two of us join forces and launch a small 3-in-1 attack together, we will definitely beat him and Shihua Yu. Ji Yuanshu looked at the conversation in the group and was secretly excited in his heart. Now with the addition of Su Yanniang, we will be able to beat Zhang Yu's team. By then, my comprehensive score will be able to catch up again and even surpass him. Ma Zhuan, let's discuss the specific tactics. Su Yanniang, since the last defeat, I have carefully studied Zhang Yu's style of play, and have already come up with a winning strategy. Su Yanniang, although his tactics are disgusting, they also have great flaws. As long as we control him, the rest of the people are nothing to worry about. Su Yanniang, what's more, our strength has greatly increased through cryptocurrency trading during this period of time. Ma Zhuan, Ji Yuanshu and other team members watched Su Yanniang talking, and they felt that his analysis was extremely accurate and his tactics were well prepared. The more they listened, the more confident and excited they became. But suddenly, Su Yanniang stopped sending messages. Ma Zhuan waited for a while and called the other party in the group, but there was no response. He sent a message to the other party, Old Su? Ma Zhuan, where are you? After a long time, Su Yanniang replied, cracked. Su Yanniang, bitter. Mazhuan, speak properly, don't just send emojis, what's the matter? Su Yanniang, the results of the military certificate are out. Chapter 439, don't spread rumors, the news is spreading like wildfire. Looking at the message sent by Su Yanniang, thinking about the other party's previous and subsequent remarks, Mazhuan had an incredible guess in his heart. He replied, didn't Ping Han get the military certificate? Su Yanniang, military certificate public notice list. Seeing the name on the list, Mazhuan was surprised. Zhang Yu? Mazhuan, how could it be Zhang Yu? Mazhuan, how could it be Zhang Yu? Mazhuan knew too well what the military certificate represented. He thought to himself, students with this certificate will have a smooth journey in taking the postgraduate entrance examination, the Golden Elixir Qualification Certificate. Compared with ordinary undergraduates, they are already at the level of a half-step master. Thinking of this, Mazhuan felt jealous and envious, and asked, didn't you say that you did very badly in the exam, and at the end of the exam, he couldn't even stand up? Su Yanniang, tears, I don't know. Su Yanniang, I can't figure it out either. Mazhuan, is there a conspiracy? Mazhuan, if there is a conspiracy, let's quickly find Zhang Yu to ease the relationship. Looking at Mazhuan's message, Su Yanniang agreed deeply. Mazhuan, and what will happen to us? Su Yanniang, wait a minute, I'll ask the teacher about the situation. So Su Yanniang sent a message to his teacher, Bai Zhenzhen, to ask about the situation of this military certificate exam. However, the message he sent seemed to sink into the sea, and Su Yanniang waited for more than an hour without receiving a response. Su Yanniang was not too surprised by this. After all, as the saying goes, the older you are, the busier you are at work. As the old director of the civil engineering department is approaching his death, he is even busier. Students like Su Yanniang are mostly in a free-range state, often not replying to messages, or replying after a few days. So after thinking for a moment, Su Yanniang sent a message to Ping Han and Zhao Yunji, who were also candidates, asking if they knew the details. Su Yanniang, have you seen the results of the military certificate? That night, Ping Han looked at the message column, and scanned Mo Engine as usual, and saw that the other party still hadn't sent a message. HMPH, even if Mo Engine doesn't want me to go back, Mr. Gao will definitely ask me to go back for the sake of the ranking in the competition. Then Ping Han received a message from Su Yanniang. He rubbed his hands and quickly opened the publication address of the military certificate. Seeing the file of the new military certificate public list was released, Ping Han clicked it with excitement. It's here. It's finally here. When he opened the file and looked at the names in the file, he was slightly stunned. Ping Han deleted the file, downloaded it again, and then opened it again. After repeating it several times, he murmured, impossible, this is absolutely impossible. I have been studying hard for 10 years in college, breaking 9 times and building 9 times. How can I be defeated by someone who has only studied for 2.5 years in college? Ping Han sent a message directly to Director Gao. Why is it Zhang Yu? Director Gao, he performed better than you. Ping Han, nonsense. How is this possible? Director Gao, military certificate examination data? Director Gao, his kill count is higher than yours. Ping Han, what kill count is compared in the civil engineering examination? Ping Han, it's in this data. My construction volume is much higher than his. Ping Han, shouldn't civil engineering be compared to this? Work hard, isn't this what you have been teaching us? Director Gao, this is a joint decision of the judges and the heavenly court, and I am just a guest. Ping Han, I don't accept it. Ping Han, I want to report it. Director Gao, Ping Han, calm down. Ping Han, this is my last year in college. My military certificate was hacked, how can you ask me to calm down? Ping Han, I am also your disciple. Ping Han, why didn't you lend me money when I was at my lowest point? Ping Han, why didn't you help me when I finally got up and was fighting for the last chance of college? Director Gao, Ping Han, you have to understand that I can't speak for my disciples in the examination environment. Ping Han, this matter will not be let go like this. Zhao Yunji looked at the message sent by Su Yanniang, and was stunned for a moment, then quickly logged onto the website and downloaded the public notice. Looking at Zhang Yu on it, Zhao Yunji felt very puzzled. Ping Han had accumulated 10 years of experience and became a god, so it was reasonable for him to get a military certificate. Zhao Yunji, has spent a lot of money for many years, and she has not hesitated to transplant the transformation skeleton and abandon the human form. It is reasonable to get the military certificate. But what about Zhang Yu? Wasn't he seriously injured by the yellow turban warrior? Zhao Yunji felt a little bit of dissatisfaction in her heart, especially when she thought that she had paid so much for this exam, but she actually lost to the other party. This dissatisfaction gradually turned into resentment. So Zhao Yunji immediately asked her teacher, Director Lin, what was the reason? After a moment, Director Lin replied, Don't talk nonsense, Director Lin. The exams presided over by Bai Zhenzhen, Xiang Zhenzhen and the 5-level guards. Where's the shady deal? Zhao Yunji, but Zhang Yu has only been in school for 2.5 years, and he has become like that after the exam. Zhao Yunji, how did he win? Director Lin originally did not want to grow the ambition of the war faction and destroy the prestige of the peace faction, especially he looked down on Zhang Yu's way of winning. But he also didn't want his students to spread any shady deals, which eventually caused the dissatisfaction of the principal. So after thinking for a moment, he replied, You should keep what I am going to tell you by yourself. Don't spread it around. Director Lin, Ping Han's performance is indeed very good. Director Lin, his construction scale is the first in the whole venue. Zhao Yunji, why did Zhang Yu win? Director Lin, because Zhang Yu killed all the yellow turban warriors in the examination room with a lower construction volume. Director Lin, military certificate examination data, killed all. Zhao Yunji was shocked and clicked on the file sent by Director Lin. Looking at Zhang Yu ranked first in the number of kills, Zhao Yunji took a deep breath. Actually, killed all the yellow turban warriors. She recalled the yellow turban warriors that came like a tide at the end of the examination room, and couldn't figure out how Zhang Yu did it. So she asked Director Lin directly about her doubts. Director Lin replied, What else can the hard laborers of the war party rely on? They beat them with their own fists, otherwise they would be so seriously injured. Zhao Yunji was shocked when she heard this. So, Zhang Yu did this with his martial arts. I remember that he has no other magic bones except the eye bones, right? So he killed all the yellow turban warriors in the field with pure martial arts. If someone told Zhao Yunji before the exam that he would only equip the eye bones to get a military certificate, she would just think that the other person was mentally ill. But now that she heard that someone really did it, she instantly felt that this mentally ill person was really damn strong. At the same time, the resentment in Zhao Yunji's heart gradually subsided. Su Yanniang, is there any news? Looking at Su Yanniang's news, Zhao Yunji thought about it and replied, Don't spread what I'm going to tell you next. Zhao Yunji, Zhang Yu eliminated all the yellow turban warriors in the field with his martial arts, so he got a military certificate. Su Yanniang, how is it possible? Zhao Yunji, military certificate exam data? Zhao Yunji, look at his number of kills, isn't he ranked first? Su Yanniang looked at the file sent by Zhao Yunji in shock, repeatedly comparing the data of each candidate. Did Zhang Yu really kill all the yellow turban warriors? His kill count is even higher than Ping Han's. Why did his strength improve so quickly? Did he buy more Kaongjian coins than Ping Han? Su Yanniang is a very practical person, and he is also a person who changes his mind quickly. After having solid evidence, he took a few seconds to accept the facts in front of him. Su Yanniang thought to himself, the wise are the teachers, and the rich are the leaders. Zhang Yu can now be considered my senior brother. At this time, Ma Zhuan sent a message. How is it? Su Yanniang, Alice, there is no end to fighting. Ma Zhuan, why? What's going on? Su Yanniang, I'll show you something. Su Yanniang, remember not to spread it around. Su Yanniang, military certificate exam data? Su Yanniang, Zhang Yu killed all the yellow turban warriors with pure martial arts. Su Yanniang, according to my guess, he may have earned more than Ping Han through Kaongjian coins. Ma Zhuan looked at the news from Su Yanniang in shock and asked, Isn't that stronger than Ping Han? Ma Zhuan, what will happen to us? Surrender directly? Su Yanniang, what should you do? Ma Zhuan was slightly stunned, and the next moment he received the news that Su Yanniang had quit the competition group and the competition team. Ma Zhuan, you are not participating in the competition? Su Yanniang, I will find a team that can enter the top 10 without playing with Zhang Yu. Su Yanniang, in addition to you and Zhang Yu's team, there are 18 teams. I don't believe that I can't find one that can help me increase my comprehensive score. Looking at Su Yanniang's answer, Ma Zhuan sighed and was confused for a while. What's the point of fighting? We have to think of a way. At this time, Ji Yuanshu asked, Senior Ma Zhuan, Why did Senior Su Yanniang leave? Seeing Ji Yuanshu, Ma Zhuan's eyes moved slightly, and he said, go to play Zhang Yu. You also know that Su Yanniang has a perfect plan, a sure win method, which is the key to our team Ma Zhuan, so he wants to temporarily increase the price, and you have to give him money Ma Zhuan, but it's okay, I will persuade him to come back in a while Ma Zhuan. By the way, you can be the captain of this competition team Ji Yuanshu. I will be the captain? Regardless of Ji Yuanshu's confusion, Ma Zhuan forcibly transferred the captain position of the competition team to the other party, and then urged the other party to agree. And soon after Ji Yuanshu agreed, he was shocked to find that Ma Zhuan also quit the team. What's the situation? To persuade Su Yanniang to come back, do you need to quit the team? Ji Yuanshu sent messages to Ma Zhuan again and again, but never waited for the other party's response. During this period, he found that other team members quit the team one by one, and finally only he, the captain, was left alone. Ji Yuanshu, Senior? Why did you all quit? After a long time, Ma Zhuan replied, Zhang Yu got the military certificate Ji Yuanshu, how could he beat Ping Han? Ma Zhuan, military certificate test data? Ma Zhuan, I will send this data to you, don't spread it around. After reading the message sent by Ma Zhuan several times, Ji Yuanshu was sure that he was not mistaken, nor was he hallucinating. Zhang Yu has passed the military certificate. Ji Yuanshu gritted his teeth and said with difficulty, he has already stepped half a foot into the master's degree, and he is only a junior. Doesn't it mean that after collecting the 7 unique skills, he can use the Tian Kunlun mountain moving power to make money? By then, his income will skyrocket, probably 10 times more than mine. Thinking of this, Ji Yuanshu felt that the 7 credit cards in his mind became heavier. Finally, Ji Yuanshu replied, I paid money to join the team. Ma Zhuan, so you are directly made the captain. Looking at the message sent by Ma Zhuan, Ji Yuanshu said angrily, damn it, at least let me withdraw first. Looking at the competition team with only himself left, Ji Yuanshu wondered what to do. After thinking for a long time, Ji Yuanshu's eyes suddenly moved, and he sent a message to his teammate Bu Ziren, who had separated after a quarrel in the previous session. Ji Yuanshu, Senior Bu, there is an extra vacancy in my competition team, do you want to transfer over? Bu Ziren, military certificate test data? Bu Ziren, fear, you want me to fight Zhang Yu? Bu Ziren, do you want me to go bankrupt? Ji Yuanshu asked Kong Na, another teammate from the previous session. Kong Na, wipe sweat, Kong Na, Junior, you are a bit unkind. Kong Na, military certificate public list. Looking at the documents sent by the other party, a trace of bitterness flashed across Ji Yuanshu's face, and he cursed in his heart, how do you know everything? Why did the news spread so quickly? Ji Yuanshu had an idea and decided to find some junior students. He sent a message directly to Li Xiao, asking him if he wanted to join the team. He remembered that Li Xiao had been begging to be a substitute player everywhere, but he couldn't afford a substitute player quota. Now that he didn't charge him money, maybe he could be recruited directly. As a result, after seeing the other party's reply, Ji Yuanshu couldn't help asking, how do you know that Zhang Yu got the military certificate? Li Xiao, Zhang Yu posted it on his Moments. Li Xiao, didn't you see it? Ji Yuanshu quickly jumped to Zhang Yu's Moments, and then he found that the other party had posted the public list of military certificates, and there were all kinds of comments and likes below. Chapter 440 Issuance of Military Certificate. Ji Yuanshu looked at Zhang Yu's circle of friends with a bitter face, muttering, damn it, he seemed to have seen that he didn't even have the chance to transfer to another team. He couldn't get any comprehensive points in this competition, and he was getting further and further away from Guangshujin, Yingzhen, and Yu Xinghen. As the 5th in the class, he was finally dragged into the endless darkness by 7 credit cards. At this moment, Ji Yuanshu suddenly received a message. Ping Han, is your team still short of people? At the same time, Li Xiao on the other side closed the conversation with Ji Yuanshu and had come to the construction site on the 668th floor. When he found Zhang Yu's location, he found that Yingzhen was already there, wielding his gang key to help Zhang Yu work. Zhang Yu said, Xiaoying, I can do this job by myself. Yingzhen, no, I just like shoveling soil. I have been doing it since I was a child. I feel uncomfortable if I don't do it for a day. Li Xiao was slightly surprised when he saw this scene, and sighed. Yingzhen came so early. Gong Shujin's voice came from the side. Early? According to the security guards here, This guy started to help Zhang Yu many days ago. Gong Shujin sighed. It's good to have relatives who are soul cultivators at home. At least they are well informed. She is probably one of the first students in our class to know that Zhang Yu can get a military certificate. As early as the day when the military certificate exam ended, Yingxin learned about Zhang Yu's performance in the exam room from her great-grandfather. So since then, she has appeared beside Zhang Yu from time to time. And from the beginning, people have been sending messages to Yingxin, willing to pay spirit coins to buy her substitute position, and many of the prices made her very excited. Li Xiao, who was standing aside, sighed in his heart, Alice, without the background of Yingxin, I can't flatter them as much as they do. Yingxin's substitute position is becoming more and more stable. At this moment, the divine power surged in the sky. Under the gaze of Li Xiao, Yingxin and others, golden light turned into stars and emerged step by step in the air. Many workers not far away were also startled and looked over curiously. Deng Bingding slowly descended with several righteous gods, looked at Zhang Yu in front of him and laughed. Congratulations, classmate Zhang Yu, I'm here to present you with a military civil engineering certificate. At this moment, Zhang Yu looked calm, but Yingxin, Gong Shujin, Li Xiao and others beside him all looked excited. Tulishan had appeared beside Zhang Yu without knowing when. Deng Bingding looked at Tulishan in surprise and asked, Who are you? Tulishan smiled and said, I am Tulishan, Zhang Yu's teacher of the basic civil engineering course. Deng Bingding nodded and said, Teacher 2 has trained a pillar for Wanfa University. Tulishan laughed. He came here today just to take a photo with Zhang Yu when he received his military certificate. Deng Bingding spread his palms and a golden certificate appeared in front of Zhang Yu in the form of a projection from the spirit world. Student Zhang Yu, I wish you great wealth in the future, and that you can make further progress on the path of immortality and make new contributions to Wanfa and Kungsu. The next moment, the military certificate had turned into a beam of light and was gently taken by Zhang Yu. At the same time that Zhang Yu received the military certificate, he saw that his ranking in the department rose sharply. This was the increase in comprehensive scores brought by the military certificate, which actually raised him from the original 60th place in the department to the 29th place in one breath. Gong Shujin, who was watching this scene, sighed in his heart. If Zhang Yu was only a junior and lacked the credits from the senior civil engineering courses, how could he only have this ranking? My friend's strength can no longer be measured by comprehensive scores and departmental rankings. Then Yingxin, Gong Shujin, and Li Xiao came over and took a photo with Zhang Yu holding a military certificate, and then posted it to their moments. Yingxin, seeing your brother passed a military certificate exam, I wish him all the best. Gong Shujin, my best friend got a military certificate, today I celebrate with him. Li Xiao, passed a military certificate in the junior year. The pride of us first-class people. At the same time, Tulishan received a message from Director Gao. Director Gao, have the military certificates been issued? Tulishan, they have been issued. Director Tulishan, photo of the military certificate issuance. The scene of the certificate issuance was accurately photographed by Tulishan, who was standing by, and took a photo of himself and the entire construction site, forming a scene of a righteous god coming to the construction site to issue military certificates to students who were plastering. Director Gao, nice photo, thumbs up. Director Gao, it fits the spirit of our Department of Civil Engineering. Director Gao, please post it to the group first. Director Gao, remember to also post it to the school news network and social media. In the Department of Civil Engineering teacher group. Tulishan, congratulations to our junior student Zhang Yu for successfully passing the military certificate. Fireworks, fireworks, fireworks. Tulishan, photo of military certificate being issued. Civil engineering teachers, thumbs up. Surprise, fireworks. Lang Yaogong, is this Director Gao's disciple? A teacher replied, Director Gao, you have a good way of teaching. Now 2 students in the department who have obtained military certificates are your disciples. Another teacher replied, Director Gao, please give me a red envelope. Director Gao, this is inseparable from the joint efforts of all my colleagues. Director Gao, in the future, it depends on everyone's joint efforts to carry forward the civil engineering spirit and build the civil engineering department better. Director Lin looked coldly at the flattery of the teachers in the group, and thought to himself, a military certificate, if people don't know, they would think you became the principal. He sent a message to Master Jiaolei, continue to poach Zhang Yu and tell him that any conditions are negotiable. Director Lin thought to himself, if I can't poach him, I will disgust you a little to see if there will be a rift between you two. But soon Master Jiaolei replied, "No, Director, Zhang Yu has already signed the contract." "Master Jiaolei, I checked, the company has the background of the equipment refining department, and Master CG is one of the shareholders." Director Lin cursed in his heart, "You are so good, Gao Changguang, you say one thing and one thing. But you are selling out the talents in the department and want to send people to the equipment refining department to make money. Master Jiaolei, Director, do you want to continue?" "Director Lin, let's stop for now." On the construction site, the light and shadow of the military certificate had disappeared from the eyes of others, and only appeared in Zhang Yu's vision. Looking at the large number of details, Zhang Yu was thoughtful. Then he clicked on the constantly refreshing message. "Yu Xinghan, have the certificates been issued?" "Yu Xinghan, I'm so angry, I'm working overtime and can't make it." "Yu Xinghan, you must take the military certificate and take a photo with me in the evening." "Che Yufei, Senior, I have discussed with Shi Yangxiang, and I think I should pay some team member fees to you." "Zhang Yu, you don't have to call me Senior." "Che Yufei, your grades are so much better than mine, you are the senior." Seeing that Zhang Yu didn't reply to the message, Che Yufei suddenly became worried. Thinking of several people offering to buy his competition position, he was even more excited and worried. "Do you want a ranking or money?" "Shi Yangxiang, I'm going to change my heart recently, do you want the lion heart?" "Shi Huaiyu, Junior Zhang Yu. Did you buy the Kaiyongjian coin with 100x leverage?" "Shi Huaiyu, Dem, Su Yanniang said he would compensate me for my kidney." "Zhao Xiangxing, Zhang Yu, can I post the pictures in your moments?" "Feng Tingting, Junior. You're on the news. Congratulations to Zhang Yu, a junior student in the Department of Civil Engineering of our school, for winning the military certificate." Yi Xingli, 3 Lingbi red envelope. "Congratulations." Yi Xingli thought to himself, Master said that he misses the old feelings. Red envelopes should also be considered a kind of old feelings, right? Zhang Yu silently accepted the 3 Lingbi red envelopes sent by Yi Xingli, and sighed in his heart, why is the human touch in Wanfa University so strong? Is this still Kung Su? At this moment, his eyes fixed and found that Ma Zhuan and Su Yanniang had added him as a friend one after another. "Ma Zhuan, Junior Zhang, is there any position on the competition team? I am willing to pay for it, and the price is negotiable." "Su Yanniang, brother, I was wrong." "Su Yanniang, can I buy a competition position? I can offer 20 spirit coins." "Su Yanniang, don't worry, I made money from trading coins, and I will never default on the payment." Seeing Su Yanniang's offer, Zhang Yu couldn't help but feel a little moved. But when he thought about his classmates in the team, he felt that he couldn't tell them about this, so he could only shake his head helplessly. Then Zhang Yu found that someone was calling him in the Songyang fellow villager group. Zhang Yu clicked over and took a quick look, and found that it was Lian Xianji who was promoting the Kaiyongjian coin to everyone at the beginning, and many people were complimenting Lian Xianji. But then Zhao Xiangxing started to speak. "Zhao Xiangxing, not long ago, I took the military certificate exam and successfully helped my boss get the military certificate." Lamling, college students take the military certificate exam, covering his face and laughing. "Zhao Xiangxing, military certificate public list." "Zhao Xiangxing, Zhang Yu got the military certificate, I just went to help him and give him a hand." "Mo Xianai, Lao Zhao, your level 20 magic weapon is well controlled." Lamling, level 20 magic weapon? Mo Xianai. Lao Zhao and I were both going to control the 20th level magic weapon. Mo Xianai, even the soul cultivators who worked with me at that time were old graduates of Wanfa University. Jin Shen, what is Zhang Yu's ranking? Jin Shen, there is something wrong with the ranking design of Wanfa. Zhao Xiangxing looked at the admiration, curiosity, and various inquiries of many fellow villagers in the group. Especially when a group of students from 36 schools and 72 schools came to consult him, a college soul cultivator, he felt proud. Then he raised his head and looked at the spiritual world space in front of him, which was no longer dark, and he felt happy. After gaining another qualification to take the military certificate exam, his income has increased again these days, and he has moved from the original dark space to the spiritual world space in front of him. Looking at the mosaic walls around him and his mosaic body, Zhao Xiangxing smiled slightly and felt that his life was getting better and better. At the same time, the square mosaic roommate next to him sent a private message. "Lao Zhao, can you introduce me to work in your hometown? I can give you the agency fee. I'm about to enter the mind-melting period. I promise not to be lazy." The roommate on the other side also sent a private message. Xiao Zhao, you are very powerful and know all the military certificate students in Wanfa. Can you also introduce me to a job? I am at the end of my life, I promise to work hard. Another roommate sent a private message. I will give you half of the agency fee and introduce me to Wanfa. I just want to see what the top 10 are like. Looking at the private messages, Zhao Xiangxing subconsciously wanted to scratch his head, and then he found that he couldn't do such delicate movements here. He felt a little troubled and hesitated whether to refuse. In the end, he replied seriously one by one, I can help you ask, but I can't guarantee success. Chapter 441 True Promise. Wanfa University. Outside the drug laboratory, Li Jingchen, who had been tired for several days, walked out slowly, intending to take a few classes to relax. He glanced at the unread messages piled up in his eyes, and suddenly found that there were many more messages in the Songyang hometown group. Li Jingchen's eyes swept over the latest one. Yu Xinghan, the health massage therapist of Zhang Yu, the 29th student of the Civil Engineering Department of Wanfa and the winner of the military certificate, well said. Li Jingchen was slightly surprised when he saw this message. He clicked on Yu Xinghan's avatar and saw a newly taken photo of Yu Xinghan massaging Zhang Yu. Li Jingchen continued to scroll up the chat history, and the more he looked, the more surprised he was, so he quickly contacted his sister Li Mulan. In the luxurious dormitory, Yu Xinghan was constantly replying to messages. Since he sent the picture of massaging Zhang Yu, the winner of the military certificate, many old customers have contacted him and asked him various questions. In the past 2 years since entering university, after exploring civil engineering, video, massage, dual cultivation and other fields, Yu Xinghan gradually realized one thing. In the past, no one in Wanfa University cared about dual cultivation, because students were busy with their studies, but as time went by, after many students gradually exhausted all the ways to improve themselves, some people began to focus on the road of dual cultivation, hoping that they could have one more way to improve their strength than others, Yu Xinghan thought, and it is difficult for companies and giant enterprises under the Hehuan sect to enter here, so dual cultivation will have a broad market in Wanfa University in the future. This is a new track under the changing times. Thinking of this, Yu Xinghan looked at the Zhang Yu fan group he opened again. He casually sent the photos of Zhang Yu holding his certificate and himself massaging. It is worthy of being the dual cultivation partner of the disciples of the God of Transformation. When will it be arranged? Will Zhang Yu draw a lottery? Give me some feather juice. 3. Take it. 1 now costs at least 30 spirit coins. Looking at the rapidly updated messages in the fan group, Yu Xinghan seemed to see a group of twisted and mutated guys crawling on the ground with drooling, crying for food. Alice, it's a pity that Zhang Yu is only willing to meet people with innate special magic power, and is only willing to exchange magic power. Yu Xinghan glanced at Zhang Yu and Li Mulan on the other side of the dormitory, and thought to himself, damn, not making good money, but providing free services in the dormitory, sinful. Only to hear Li Mulan on the other side say, don't lick it randomly. Li Mulan, well, put it in, Zhang Yu, I have enough blood recently, and the momentum may be a bit strong, you take it. First, Li Mulan's fingertips stretched into Zhang Yu's mouth, delivering the medicinal power produced in the body to the other party. After a moment, it was Zhang Yu's turn to stretch out his fingers, force out a stream of blood at the fingertips, and feed it into Li Mulan's mouth. Li Mulan opened her mouth and held it, feeling a stream of liquid rushing into her throat, and the strong smell rushed straight into her nasal cavity, making her almost cough. Zhang Yu's blood is so viscous, and the medicinal power in it is so strong. Li Mulan's tongue slowly wrapped around the medicinal power, tasting and analyzing the changes in it. Zhang Yu's physique is getting more and more terrifying. Why? Obviously, his physical strength has reached the limit of level 20 before, right, but these days, his physique has improved in some aspects. At this moment, Li Mulan saw the message of Li Jingchen jumping in her eyes. After asking her about Zhang Yu's situation, the other party sighed. Zhang Yu has always taken good care of you and is really good to you, Li Jingchen. It seems that he misses the old relationship, so it is necessary to have a good relationship with him. Not long after Li Mulan replied to her brother's message, she saw the message from her mentor again. Yinjireo, is Zhang Yu still shipping? In the office, Yinjireo licked her lips, as if she was still savoring something. Oh, what a pity, it's out of print for the time being, otherwise, you can compare the difference in materials after his strength is improved. Looking at the paper in front of her, Yin Jiao planned to list Zhang Yu's military certificate results as one of the arguments for the paper. Then she asked Li Mulan, if you don't have the essence material, other materials will do. Anyway, tell me anytime you have the goods. Yin Jiao, if you can provide it, I can also help you with this paper in my hand. Zhang Yu had just finished the cooperation and mutual assistance with Li Mulan today, and was watching the other party communicating with someone through the eye skeleton. At this time, Bai Zhenzhen's avatar also popped up on his own eye skeleton. Zhen, Zhang Yu smiled and agreed to the other party's communication request. Looking at the projection of the other party, Zhang Yu asked, have you seen the photo I sent you? Bai Zhenzhen nodded repeatedly and said with a smile on her face, Yuzi, with a military certificate, you can gather the 7 unique skills and practice the Tian Kunlun mountain moving power of your department. Right, this is one step closer to the top 10 league. After Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenzhen chatted for a few words, he saw the projection of the other party leaning on him and whispered, Yuzi, I miss you. She thought to herself, when can we meet again? I will lend a divine root to Yuzi. In this way, his strength will grow faster. Zhang Yu said, I will participate in the cross-school league of civil engineering later. Now the competition system of this league has been changed. There will be a game every once in a while. At that time, I will have to go to different universities to compete. He should also go to Xianjian University, and then we can meet. Bai Zhenzhen's face was happy when she heard it, and said, really? That's great, then we must meet every day. Bai Zhenzhen originally wanted to say that they would meet every day and then practice the divine root together crazily, but thinking that the communication situation at this moment might be monitored, she changed her statement. Zhang Yu felt the other party's gaze, but understood the other party's intention, and said in his heart, Zhen, I also want to exchange spiritual roots with you fiercely at that time. You will be shocked at that time, right? I wonder how much our strength will be increased by exchanging 2 divine roots. Zhang Yu said, well, we will meet every day at that time. Bai Zhenzhen looked at the other party's eyes and understood that the other party knew what she meant, and the corners of her mouth could not help but curl up. Then it's a deal. I'll wait for you at Xianjian University. Just after Zhang Yu and Bai Zhenzhen started communicating, Zhang Yu's eyes kept popping up messages. Wen Wuya, Zhenzhen, are you not ready yet? Wen Wuya, how long will it take? Wen Wuya, the teacher is coming, hurry up. Wen Wuya, at least reply to me, urgent. Bai Zhenzhen, well. Xianjian University. Several students looked at Bai Zhenzhen who was hugging the air, and they all felt that the smile on her face was unprecedentedly bright. They showed a trace of surprise on their faces, and one of them said, oh? So Zhenzhen can laugh? I thought she had her facial nerves removed. Another student said, yes, she has a first-level friend. It is said that every time she talks to her first-level friend, she will laugh. Hearing that it was a first-level friend, everyone's faces showed understanding. In their view, a first-level friend is similar to their animal friends at home, belonging to the category of pets and mounts. It is normal and understandable for them to laugh when they meet. When Wuya stood aside, listening to the students' conversation, and sneered in his heart, a bunch of idiots, they can't even tell the difference between a first-level friend and a pet or mount. After taking a look at Bai Zhenzhen's reply to her message, Wen Wuya thought to herself, Zhenzhen didn't forget to reply to my message when she was communicating with Zhang Yu. It seems that I am becoming more and more successful. It seems that it won't be long before I can win the agreement with the 7 emotions god. Then she took another look at Zhang Yu's avatar and thought to herself, did he get the military certificate? Although it was a military civil engineering certificate, whether or not he got the military certificate was also a huge difference in the eyes of Wen Wuya, a disciple of the god of transformation. Zhang Yu's status at this moment also became very different in his eyes. After thinking about it, she opened the address book and changed Zhang Yu's note from Bai Zhenzhen's first-level friend, civil engineering department, to Bai Zhenzhen's friend, who has obtained a military certificate, civil engineering department, . At this moment, accompanied by a sword light falling from the sky, a figure appeared in front of everyone. I am your special training instructor, Jinkming Zhao. If you want to join the school team and participate in the top 10 leagues next year, there are 3 most important things: money, still money, to participate in my special training here. The first class test is to show your account balance. The lowest will be eliminated directly. You have 5 minutes to prepare, and the test will start in 5 minutes. After ending the call with Bai Zhenzhen, Zhang Yu came to the refining laboratory and started today's work. Today is Tai Jinai pill. This is exactly what Zhang Yu used the monthly reimbursement quota of 30 spirit coins to place an order for magic weapons for himself through Yizhongli. One Tai Jinai pill is still not enough. After experiencing the full work of the military certificate, Zhang Yu also has a deeper understanding of his current work system. If I can get more Tai Jinai then, my work efficiency can be improved again. After all, I have to participate in the inter-school league, so I still have to hurry up to improve my strength. After all the basic values reach the limit of foundation building, Zhang Yu knew that he had to continue to increase his strength. In addition to the Dao seeds and chain diagrams in Yushu, the most common method, which is also the method used by other students, is to work hard on magic weapons, magic skeletons and exercises. Among magic weapons, magic skeletons and exercises, the biggest improvement is of course military grade strength. In addition to military grade, more magic weapons that are more suitable for him are very useful to Zhang Yu. Especially since he himself is learning to refine weapons, it is very suitable for him to enhance his strength through magic weapons. I don't know how Director Gao is doing. When can I participate in the test of the 7 civil engineering items and get the remaining 7 unique skills? At this time, Director Gao sent a message. Director Gao, Ping Han joined Ji Yuanshu's team. Director Gao, he wants to fight with you in the next game. Zhang Yu, what do you want me to do? Director Gao, defeat him with all your strength. Director Gao, I want you to wake him up. Director Gao, fight against the unhealthy trend of the civil engineering department in speculating in foreign currencies. Director Gao, show your power. Let people know that you are qualified to take the remaining 7 pieces. Let people know that you are crucial to the inter-school league. Chapter 442 Goodbye Mr. Wang. Battle with Han. Kungsa first floor. Songgyang City. Songgyang High School. These days, a lecture was held in Songgyang High School under the sponsorship of Ziyan Company and Ziyan High School. At the school gate, a statue of Zhang Yu was erected, which was said to be donated by Li Jingchen, an alumnus of Ziyan High School, through the company's special line. At this moment, on the training ground, the freshmen of the first grade were sitting down obediently, and there were also many school leaders, physical education teachers, all sitting down, listening to the special gold medal physical education teacher Wang Hai talk about the advanced experience in physical training. The top 10, that's the pinnacle of all universities. Wanfa University, that's the pinnacle of the top 10. It is said that in Wanfa University, a low-ranking student walking on the road has a certain probability of being beaten to death by patrols. Students with poor grades can't survive in Wanfa University, and my student, your senior, Zhang Yu, was admitted to Wanfa University. After he was admitted to Wanfa University, he still didn't stop moving forward. Not only did he become the first in the class, he also entered the top 100 in the department. Not long ago, he even passed the military certificate. It is said that he now earns millions of dollars a day. Listening to Wang Hai's story, the students below exclaimed in unison. Many school leaders listened to Wang Hai's story. Although they had already learned about the news that Li Jingchen sent through Ziyan, they were still full of emotion when they listened to it again. The other physical education teachers looked at Wang Hai with envy. The other party had become the highest paid physical education teacher in Songgyang City. Wang Hai on the stage continued, when Zhang Yu was in the first year of high school, I already saw his extraordinary qualities. Not only did he ask me for advice on the bodybuilding exercises every day, he also insisted on not taking drugs to exercise his willpower. Of course, you don't need to learn this. You can't keep up without taking drugs. Kungsa second floor. Wanfa University. Li Jingchen looked at the message sent from the first floor through the company's dedicated line and thought to himself, let's do this for now. There's no need to take the initiative to talk about these little things. Anyway, there will be new students in Songgyang City joining the hometown group next year, and they will naturally tell me about these things. Everything will ferment naturally. Li Jingchen didn't know if this would work, but he felt that from what he heard about Zhang Yu from Li Mulan, he thought this method should be useful. Anyway, it didn't consume much resources for him, so he just did it. If there is a chance in the future, maybe Ziyan High School can join Songgyang High School. In this way, Zhang Yu and I are also alumni of the same high school. Spirit World. Li Zulian flicked her fingertips, and many chat records in the Songgyang hometown group emerged. In addition, there were photos of Zhang Yu's circle of friends, gossips from all over the place, and so on. After a moment, she looked at the Starfire Master in front of her and said, Dad, this is the situation. I said if you had listened to me and signed Zhang Yu, The projection of Starfire Master in the spirit world waved his hand and said helplessly, alright. I'm going to get calluses from hearing you say this. It's rare for me to travel to the spirit world. I come up there to listen to the news, not to listen to you repeating yourself. Seeing that Li Zulian wanted to say more, Starfire Master quickly pointed to the chat record in front of him and said, is this from Yu Zhenghen? Why is he always discussing dual cultivation with this Lian Xianji? Does he want to dual cultivate with this woman? Li Zulian's eyes showed a strange look, and she said, maybe, Alice, this kid is really? Starfire Master shook his head, and then looked at the various information about Zhang Yu, with a smile on his face. Seeing that Zhenren kept laughing, and finally kept laughing like this, Li Zulian asked, Dad, if Zhang Yu is promoted to Jinden, can he help you go back? Seeing that Zhenren did not respond, Li Zulian frowned, looked carefully, and a trace of helplessness flashed in her eyes. Alice, it turns out that it is stuck. Has the Shenayao traffic been used up? Nether University. Wang Yin, who has successfully become a graduate student, opened the video in his eyes as usual. It was playing Zhang Yu's competition video last year. Over the past year, Wang Yin has been watching this video constantly, watching it during the day, watching it at night, watching it while breathing, watching it while taking medicine. He has already memorized the process by heart. He used to be so upset that his heart was bleeding, but now he has a calm face and no fluctuations in his heart. He just said calmly, Mom, now my strength has not only returned to the peak of foundation building, but my heart of Tao is as heavy as the vast earth. No matter how much failure, how insulted, or how ugly it is difficult for my heart of Tao to fluctuate in the slightest. Even any failure, any insult, will only turn into my immortal resources, allowing me to go further on the road of immortality. The mother said calmly, you said the same thing last time. The heart of Tao is cultivated, not spoken. Do you know what people outside say about you now? Wang Yin said calmly, what do they say about me? Mom, don't worry, the more you insult me, the more it will sharpen my heart of Tao. The mother said calmly, they say that Wang Yin can't even rely on his parents, and his achievements in this life are limited. I'm afraid he may not even be able to achieve the golden elixir in the future. Wang Yin frowned slightly. Of course, he understood how insulting these words were. Every descendant of a rich man must have an elder with a long life. As the offspring of wealthy people, living off one's parents or learning to use the resources of one's elders to thrive is an important ability, a key skill, a tradition passed down from generation to generation, and one of the criteria for judging the strength of offspring. You actually say that I am not good at living off my parents? What's the difference between this and scolding me for being unfilial? Wang Yin sneered. His heart of Tao was running. An infinite fighting spirit surged in his heart. I will let these people know how good I am at living off my parents. His mother nodded slightly. It seems that you have made progress again. Then I will talk about Zhang Yu next. It's like giving you a few questions. Do you want to listen? Wang Yin's eyes flashed, and his fighting spirit became stronger. Come on, Mom. My emperor's heart has been longing for this day for a year. In the past year, I have been looking forward to this day all the time. I will turn Zhang Yu's victory into the nourishment for my progress. This is my Wang Yin's Yingsu. Mom, I'm not afraid to tell you. Wang Yin smiled confidently and said, if a person defeats me, I can even give him money. Just give him 10 spirit coins. The mother said, Zhang Yu is now in the top 30 of the civil engineering department of Wanfa University. Wang Yin smiled slightly and said, he is worthy of being my opponent. Wang Yin. He has made great progress in the past year. If he is in the top 30 of the civil engineering department, he will have the opportunity to come to Yaoming University in the future. This gives me the opportunity to defeat him personally. That's great. The mother continued, Zhang Yu has become the dual cultivation partner of a Huishan disciple. Wang Yin was slightly stunned, then laughed and said, he can actually practice dual cultivation with a Huishan disciple? It shows that he has the qualifications in this area. Then my value in defeating him in the future will be even higher. The mother continued, he passed the military examination for the direction of martial arts. Puff. Wang Yin laughed and said, Mom, I know you will make up some false news to test me, but you said that Zhang Yu passed a military examination in his junior year. That's a bit too fake. It doesn't have the effect of a test at all. Seeing the other party's indifferent look, Wang Yin gradually put away his smile. Is it true? The mother tapped her fingertips, and the school news of Wanfa University appeared. There was a photo of Zhang Yu being awarded a military certificate. Under the mother's gaze, Wang Yin was silent for a moment, and then murmured, "I can't do this question. I can't do it. It's too difficult." The mother shook her head and said coldly, "Wang Yin, you really don't even understand how to rely on your parents now." Just as the mother was about to turn around and leave, she suddenly felt an amazing fighting spirit coming from Wang Yin's body. "Mom, I have said it before, the more failures, the more insults, the more frustrations, the more it will stimulate my fighting spirit now. I am no longer the person I used to be." The mother smiled. "Okay, then do you still need to use the avoidance talisman to block all news about Zhang Yu for you?" Wang Yin's body was full of spiritual energy, and the surging spiritual energy seemed to have become his subjects, submitting to his thoughts, constantly gathering and emitting a faint glow. Wang Yin said, "No need. Now, even if I witness Zhang Yu's victory every day, I will only become better. I can even add him as a friend myself." His mother said happily, "Well, you have made great progress in the past year and have truly mastered the mind of the emperor." "Huh?" Zhang Yu's eyes moved. "Mr. Wang? He actually added me as a friend? Didn't he block me a long time ago? He's not a liar, right?" After adding Wang Yin as a friend, Zhang Yu checked with Dian Yang and found that the other party was really Wang Yin. However, after confirming the other party's friend, Zhang Yu did not have time to chat and hurriedly closed the conversation window. Just because he had more important things to do at the moment. Today is the civil engineering competition within the department. A battle between their competition team and Ping Han's competition team. There was no one outside the huge simulated battlefield, but many civil engineering students were watching the game through live broadcast. It's about to start. Zhang Yu and Ping Han, who is the most qualified to get a military certificate? Who cares about this? I'm here to see which of them is better at speculating in Kyongji and coins. It must be Zhang Yu. It is said that he is proficient in the art of dual cultivation and can become a dual cultivation partner with the disciples of Huishan. His research on Kyongji and coins is much better than Ping Han. In front of the simulated battlefield, the two teams stood opposite each other. Ping Han looked at Zhang Yu coldly, with a burning desire in his eyes. He just heard him say, "You also bought Kyongji and coins." Zhang Yu shook his head. "I don't speculate in coins." Ping Han snorted coldly. "People who don't speculate in coins are destined to be eliminated by the times. What qualifications do they have to get a military certificate?" Chapter 443 Zhang Yu, why do you want to fight me? The seemingly empty arena, however, has attracted many people's attention due to the spirit world and live broadcast. Su Yanniang was also watching the competition, thinking to himself, the battle between the two geniuses of the currency path will depend on who has more money. Anyway, it will definitely encourage many people to buy Kyongji and coins again. Then he looked at Ji Yuanshu, who was standing next to Ping Han, thinking, as expected, he is a guy who wants to transfer to the finance department. He has a strong gambling nature. At this moment, Su Yanniang heard the conversation between Zhang Yu and Ping Han, and listened to Zhang Yu's denial of his currency speculation again, and a trace of doubt appeared on his face. Is this guy telling the truth or lying? Behind Ping Han, Ji Yuanshu and 4 other teammates stood together. Looking at Ping Han, who was confronting Zhang Yu, Ji Yuanshu actually thought about whether to quit the team after Ping Han joined. But he soon realized one thing, it doesn't matter who wins or loses this battle, both sides have bought Kyongji coins. No matter who wins this battle, it will be like adding fuel to the fire, and Kyongji coins will definitely become more popular in Wanfa University. The first thing Ji Yuanshu did after realizing this was to use up his last wealth and put all of it on Kyongji coins with 100 times leverage. After consuming his last immortal potential, Ji Yuanshu knew that he could no longer transfer to other teams. After all, he no longer had the money to buy substitutes for other teams. It doesn't matter, as long as I make a lot of money in this wave of Kyongji coins, I can slowly catch up with the comprehensive points. After all, there are competitions every year, and such a good opportunity to make money is not always available. There are many people with similar ideas, until Zhang Yu and Ping Han talked and said that he would not speculate in coins. Zhang Yu himself was also a little helpless about the gossip in the past few days. I don't know who spread the rumor that I was speculating in Kyongji coin and even used 100 times leverage. Thinking of Director Gao's request, Zhang Yu simply raised his voice and shouted, "The value of Kyongji coin is not stable. It is too dependent on market confidence and is overly concentrated in the hands of Huishan University. It is easy to manipulate the price. I will not touch such an investment with too high a risk." Ping Han, I advise you to take advantage of the money you have made now and leave early to avoid bankruptcy again. Kaiyongjian coin has been rising for so long, the risk has been getting higher and higher. Hearing Zhang Yu's shouting, Ping Han has not continued to answer, but the spirit world has already quarreled. Some people immediately spent money to project lines of subtitles, which were displayed directly above Zhang Yu. You didn't warn me about the ups and downs of Kaiyongjian coin for so many years. Now that everyone is making money, why are you warning me? What are you talking about if you don't trade in coins? Can you stop making random comments in areas you don't understand? This kind of person actually got a military certificate. It's really sad for Wanfa University. Kaiyong coin has risen to the sky, not to mention the risks. How long has Kaiyongjian coin been rising, and you're already warning me about the risks? Does Zhang Yu dare to publish his own positions? If the students who were watching the game just now were still talking and laughing, the spirit world at this moment seemed to have turned into a violent storm, and countless malice gathered towards Zhang Yu, as if to tear him to pieces. Zhang Yu looked at the lines of text that appeared above his head, and then looked at the information that kept floating out of his eyes, and shook his head helplessly. Fuji smiled and said, if you stand up and step on the brakes at this time, you will definitely be scolded. Zhang Yu, it doesn't matter. Anyway, Director Gao asked me to do it, so I'll just remind you. It won't hurt me whether I'm scolded or not. On the contrary, as Ping Han stretched out his hand, the abuse in the spirit world immediately stopped for the most part. Ping Han pointed at the price chart above his head with one hand and the price of the Kaiyongjian coin on his chest with the other hand, and said, just when Zhang Yu was talking nonsense, our Kaiyongjian coin increased by 0.01 spirit coins. Oh! Countless cheers surged in the spirit world. Ping Han opened his hands, as if embracing the void, and said confidently, everyone, when the Kaiyongjian coin was 0.1 spirit coins, some people didn't believe it would rise. When it was 1 spirit coin, some people said it would fall. When it was 10 spirit coins, many people told me that it was time to stop, but the facts proved that they were all wrong, and we have won until now, and we will continue to win. As Ping Han spoke, the projection of the way to join the investment guidance group behind him also brightened, and the cheers in the spirit world became more intense. Above Ping Han, a large number of words projected by the audience who threw money appeared. The price of Kaiyongjian coins has risen to 10,000 spirit coins. Come on, Ping Han. Beat this black mouth to the ground. I want to see Zhang Yu being beaten to his knees. In an instant, the situation was divided. The more support the audience had for Ping Han, the more angry they were at Zhang Yu. And soon, the attack on Zhang Yu turned into an attack on the entire competition team. Che Yufei, Shi Yangxiang and others were also looking at the various information jumping rapidly in their eyes. At this moment, the players on both sides felt the anger and hostility of countless spectators. Shi Yangxiang just felt a little numb in his head, thinking, why did Zhang Yu provoke them? Yu Xinghong scanned the situation in the spirit world and thought to himself, there are many traces of water troops. The next moment, with the instructions of the referee, the two teams who were just standing at the entrance entered the field one after another. In order to reduce costs, because of the increasingly intense competition, the original competition process of the first and second half has now been changed to one game. Both sides carry out construction and attack and defense at the same time, and finally compare the completion of their respective buildings. As soon as he arrived at the construction site, Ping Han said to Ji Yuanshu and the other three, you 5 stay here to build, and I will take care of the rest. After saying that, he ignored the feedback from Ji Yuanshu and the other three, and shut out in a flash, rushing towards Zhang Yu's location. Ping Han was not interested in bringing his teammates with him. He wanted to defeat Zhang Yu alone, and even defeat Zhang Yu's teammates. He wanted to let those experts, professors, and school leaders open their eyes and see clearly that he was the most deserving recipient of the military certificate of the civil engineering department this year. At the same time, looking at the group joining information that kept jumping in his eyes, he realized that this was a great opportunity to promote himself and the guidance group. Zhang Yu, thank you for criticizing the Kaiyongjian coin. In the face of this trend, the more you criticize, the faster it will be, accelerating the growth of the Kaiyongjian coin and my growth. On the other side, Ji Yuanshu looked at Ping Han's departing back, but he felt a luck rolling in between heaven and earth in his heart, which was the support of more and more people for them. He sighed in his heart, I am just Ping Han's teammate, but I have shared a lot of luck. If I were a true genius in the Department of Finance, or an existence like the god of Kaiyongjiang, How much luck would I get every moment? When Ping Han came to the field, he saw Zhang Yu standing there alone. Ping Han said coldly, "Just you." Zhang Yu said indifferently, "I am enough." Zhang Yu knew in his heart that this was also what Director Gao meant. If he still needed the help of his teammates to defeat Ping Han, how could he prove the value of his military certificate? Zhang Yu looked at Ping Han opposite him and guessed that the other party had similar plans. Ping Han knew that many people were watching the live broadcast at this moment, so he deliberately raised his voice and shouted, "Zhang Yu, everyone said that you had a higher number of kills in the military certificate examination room, so you beat me. Today I will not compete with you in construction, but in who can fight better." After saying that, Ping Han put his hands together, and then slammed out with a palm. The ground under his feet rose like a tsunami, rushing towards Zhang Yu like an overwhelming force. Facing Ping Han's attack, Zhang Yu changed his palm print and also fought back with a small 3 combination. He pressed down with his palm, and the mud and sand that came to his face seemed to be hit hard by an invisible big hand. It exploded with a bang and turned into smoke and dust that rose into the sky and rushed in all directions. As the fierce battle between the two sides began, the first thing they did was to compete with each other in a small 3 combination. The earth shook, the mud and sand rushed into the sky, accompanied by a loud rumbling sound. It was as if 2 giant beasts were biting each other in the center of the battlefield, and an endless sandstorm broke out, stirring up the world into chaos. "Good," Ping Han shouted, and the smoke and dust in the sky were suddenly shaken away. "It's worth it that I prepared it specially for you. This money is not wasted." I saw several light and shadows breaking through the sand and dust and shooting directly at Ping Han's position. Amid the crackling explosion, the light and shadows showed a dazzling metallic luster, and they were like living things, wrapping around Ping Han's body. "Armor?" Zhang Yu's eyes fixed, and he recognized what Ping Han was wearing. Armor is a type of equipment that has existed since ancient times. Although Zhang Yu knew about it, he rarely saw it in Kung Fu. Because it is a magic weapon specially used for fighting, its scope of application is too narrow, and it has nothing to do with most people in Kung Fu. Ping Han said coldly, "Yes. I prepared this Shianitian armor specially for this battle." At this moment, Ping Han was covered with a thick layer of armor. The black armor showed the light of the Haoshan star track, which corresponded to the 36 meridians of the human body. As the mana in Ping Han's body flowed, it continued to gush out. And at the connection part of the armor, the dragon tendons appeared faintly, emitting a stream of hot blood. Zhang Yu, who was watching these scenes, understood that all these structures of the armor represented a larger volume and heavier weight, but also represented a higher mana reserve, more modular functions, and higher immortal power. These are all advantages that a mere human-sized law skeleton does not have. Huh? As Ping Han took a breath, hot currents came out of his mouth, raising the temperature around him. At the same time, the coin price and trend charts originally projected on Ping Han's body were adjusted to the outside of the armor. Seeing the coin price of 16.88 pop up on Ping Han's chest again, cheers rose in the spirit world, and countless people cheered for Ping Han and the Kaiyongjiang coin. Zhang Yu, the path to immortality is money. You are not speculating in coins, so your ability to make money is weaker than mine. The upper limit of your immortal potential is lower. Why do you fight me? Chapter 444, Defeat Me. I saw red aura gushing out from behind Ping Han's armor. He accelerated and tore through the air, appearing in front of Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu's body was covered with a cloud of aura, and his whole body was suddenly wrapped in clouds. Bang! Zhang Yu parried and felt the terrifying power being thrown out by the opponent's punch, which knocked him out fiercely. Before the military certificate exam, I prepared that magic weapon to improve my construction ability. The original Ping Han had the bonus of the Dharmakaya, and his strength was already extraordinary. At this moment, he used the Dharmakaya to push the armor, and used the armor to strengthen the Dharmakaya and the flesh. His strength suddenly increased, and he shot out like a meteor, blasting Zhang Yu out again and again. As a result, they said that I didn't have enough kills in the exam. With a loud snort, Zhang Yu's feet plowed hundreds of meters of traces on the ground. Looking up, he saw Ping Han punching again. Okay, since we are going to compare combat effectiveness, I will change into a set of actual combat equipment. What else can you use to fight me now? Amidst the loud bangs, Ping Han turned into a black lightning, tearing through the air again and again, and attacked Zhang Yu. I have the perseverance and courage to go bankrupt again and again, the vision and wisdom to see through the cryptocurrency market, The indomitable heart of Taoism that has been tempered over the years, and the luck of the great rise of Kaiyongji and coin this time. You have neither my accumulation nor the courage to speculate in coins, nor the wisdom to see the secret of the rise of Kaiyongji and coin. How can you compare with me? With the blessing of Xianitun armor, he can continuously gush out the aura from head to toe, swallowing and exhaling the atmosphere, and comprehensively improving Ping Han's speed. At the same time, the aura swallowed and exhaled by the armor kept changing color, showing 9 colors of aura, each of which represented a different form of damage such as high temperature, low temperature, electromagnetic, cutting, and shock. Ping Han's spine, legs, and hands each pushed the 20th level combat martial arts for him, allowing him to fully exert his combat power at the moment. Boom. Another collision of energy, the Wuxian Yun gang all over Zhang Yu's body suddenly dissipated, revealing his true body under the clouds, a human figure wrapped in golden armor. Zhang Yu. I'm richer than you, better at making money than you, and have more potential than you to become an immortal, whether it's construction or fighting. I can always be better than you by just changing my fighting style, Ping Han shouted. You still don't admit defeat. At the same time, the words projected by countless spectators appeared above the arena, like countless people shouting to Zhang Yu. Surrender. 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 Kneel down. Surrender. As if carrying the will of countless people, Ping Han punched the golden armor hard, tearing the human figure in front of him into pieces. In the spirit world around the arena, Yi Zingli also sent down a projection, specially to watch the duel between Zhang Yu and Ping Han. Yi Zingli was also very curious about the strength of Zhang Yu, who is highly valued by his master. Ping Han's current strength is not weak, and he should have reached the peak level below the military level strength, Yi Zingli thought to himself. Zhang Yu just got his military certificate not long ago, and he should not have mastered the military level skills yet. The two sides of this battle are at the same level, and we can also see Zhang Yu's background. Just as Yi Zingli was thinking this, another projection appeared beside her. Zingli, you are here too. Hearing this voice, Yi Zingli turned her head and looked at the emerging projection, with a smile on her face. Senior Kaiyongji, the projection of the metallic mechanical man in front of her was Yan Kaiyongji, the first in the entire refining department, who mastered many military-level powers. At the same time, he was also a direct disciple of a god of transformation. Yan Kaiyongji, who appeared in the spirit world as a mechanical man, looked in the direction of Zhang Yu and Ping Han and said in surprise, Huh? Seeing Zhang Yu withstand Ping Han's attacks again and again, Yan Kaiyongji said, he is indeed a good material in a beautiful jade. He asked curiously, in the case of Zhang Yu's pure physical body, he either wants to make a customized armor skeleton or he wants to sell his body. Which one is he? The image of Zhang Yu practicing the art of refining flashed through Yi Zingli's mind, but he did not intend to reveal it, and just said casually, I don't know much about this. Yan Kaiyongji touched his chin and said, it's the top-notch treasure. I really want to try the effect of putting it on my body. If there is any unused part of his body, tell me and I'll buy it at a high price. Yi Zingli nodded, and then asked, Senior, haven't you been busy participating in the update project of Xianri Huangshan? Why did you think of watching this competition? Yi Zingli knew that as a military-grade Dharmakaya of the refining department, Xianri Huangshan was continuously updating itself every year, constantly iterating new immortal technologies, so that it could maintain its military-grade evaluation in the Daozan catalog of the 10 major sects. Of course, any Dharmakaya based on its original framework design will always reach its limit one day, so the refining department is also constantly developing newer and stronger Dharmakaya. Hearing Yi Zingli's question, Yan Kaiyongji explained, this competition is not just about Zhang Yu and Ping Han, or the civil engineering department itself. After all, someone in the finance department hyped this game. Finance department, Yi Zingli said in surprise. They hyped it for Kaiyongji and coin. Yan Kaiyongji snorted coldly and said, what can't these blood-sucking zombies in the finance department do? As long as they can earn spiritual coins, it's just a small matter for them to unite with forces outside the school and sell out the interests of the school. Hesitating for a moment shows that their Taoism is flawed. In addition to interests, Yan Kaiyongji also understands that this is also an extension of the struggle among the upper echelons of the school. Yan Kaiyongji thought to himself, although Zhang Yu is a student of the Department of Civil Engineering, he was selected by Bai Zhenzhen in the military certificate examination. If Ping Han defeated Zhang Yu in a flash, whose face would this be? Yan Kaiyongji knew that even if Zhang Yu lost, the military certificate would never be transferred to Ping Han, which involved the procedures and authority of the school and even the heavenly court. But in the eyes of the school's top leaders, especially the three principals of the God-transforming academy, it was inevitable that Bai Zhenzhen would be seen as someone who didn't know how to judge people and was not reliable in his work. And for the top leaders of Wanfa University, sometimes an impression can determine the success or failure of many things. Just as Yan Qianji was speaking, a projection of the spiritual world with a golden light emerged. An old voice followed, "Brother Qianji, you have a deep misunderstanding of our finance department. How could we be the kind of people who would sell out the interests of the school for spiritual coins?" This time, the Qiangjian coin has risen sharply. "We are going to take the students of Wanfa University to go outside the school and harvest the money of Helho University together." Ye Zingli turned his head and saw a person wearing a golden robe, looking old and frail, and every strand of skin revealed an image of extreme aging, projected in front of them. Ye Zingli read the other party's name in his heart, Zhang Yu, another disciple of the God transformation. Ye Zingli knew that Zhang Yu in the real material world did not look like this old man. The old appearance in front of him was just the other party's spiritual image. After all, the older you are, the higher the cost of extending your life. Being old enough to be beyond the reach of ordinary people, old enough to exceed the limit of the physical body, is a privilege and image of the rich. The poor cannot live that old. Zhang looked at the competition field with a smile and said, "I didn't expect that this junior Zhang Yu would dissuade everyone from investing in Qiangjiang coins. Alice. If he loses now, I'm afraid the junior's enthusiasm for investment will be even higher." Yan Qianji said lightly, "Zhang Yu may not lose." Zhang looked at the figure that was completely suppressed in the field and finally blown up by Ping Han's punch, and said lightly, "Really, I wonder if Brother Qianji is interested in a gamble." Yan Qianji said coldly, "I don't gamble." At the same time, as Ping Han's last punch came down with all his strength, the human figure in front of him in golden armor suddenly disintegrated. Although the golden armor formed by Tai Jinai Dan did not break, the human figure in it was like a balloon that exploded and could no longer support the golden armor. As the wisps of energy dispersed from it, the golden armor slowly fell to the ground. It turned out that the one blown away by Ping Han's punch was not Zhang Yu's real body, but the Wuxiang Lishi wearing golden armor. The next moment, two more golden armored figures broke out of the ground one after the other, and attacked Ping Han fiercely from two different directions. Zhang Yu now has 3 Tai Jinai pills, so he can use a golden armored warrior to attract firepower, and then launch an offensive with 2 golden armors. Which one is real, which one is fake? Ping Han's eyes swept over the 2 golden armored figures in front and behind, and finally sneered, "It doesn't matter." He saw him raise his palm with one hand, and rolling aura shot out from the palm nozzle of the armor, turning into a sickle-shaped sword aura. Then the sword aura changed 9 colors in a row. After the 9 kinds of aura were superimposed, it finally turned into a green color. "Zhang Yu, your aura's ability to parry and use force to fight force is really amazing, but there is a biggest weakness, that is, while you are good at dealing with blunt attacks, you are difficult to deal with sharp cuts. Since you don't admit defeat, then lose to me." Level 29 Heaven's Blue Scythe Push. The sickle technique that Ping Han used was a result of a martial arts expert's understanding of the ups and downs of the stock market. It contained his understanding of stock trading for many years, and also contained the artistic conception of the sword flash and the bloodless killing in the financial market. After seeing it, Ping Han felt that this technique was very suitable for him, and it was indescribably easy to use. At this moment, this sickle technique was pushed by Ping Han with his flesh, body, and armor. The sharp green sickle seemed to come from the sky and cut down from high to low. The condensed energy was even more sharp, with the secret of breaking the energy, and it could enter the body and break the mana of the person hit by the knife. In the next blow, the green knife energy fell, and with just one blow, it split the smoke and dust within a radius of 100 meters into 2, and split the 2 golden armored figures into 2, and the energy in them was shattered. As the 2 golden armored warriors were broken, the ground under Ping Han's feet shook violently. While the golden armored warriors were fighting Ping Han, Zhang Yu finally completed the first round of the Wuxiang Spirit General's creation. At this moment, Zhang Yu stepped on the Wuxiang Spirit General, which was more than 10 meters tall, and broke out of the ground with a bang. The Wuxiang Spirit General roared wildly, and a beam of hot light gushed out of his mouth, engulfing Ping Han's head. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.